Hello there, everybody, and welcome back to the Four Nations by the UK EL. It is a brand new autumn split. I am Brackish Brett. It's my pleasure to bring it to you as the host, and I am joined by a familiar face, Paragon coach, that direction, Rob.
Hello.
And a brand new face to our roster, Bennis the Menace. Welcome, bud. How you doing?
I'm great, Brackish. Great to be here, feeling great, looking great, and you guys looking great as well.
Go safe. I know you're not used to dealing with such decrepit old individuals, but welcome to the scene.
I'm just glad to bring down the. I'm glad to bring down the average age.
Yeah, bring down the average age. Yep,
Ooh,
good.
I'm not that old. I don't think.
I am. But anyway, before we talk about things that are falling like the leaves, we've got a whole bunch of things shooting up, and that's of course all of our teams. We got 4 matches for you today. Unfortunately, a bit lacking in the graphical department, but we can still go through what we will be dealing with. Rob, starting on up with Verdant versus Bron Friends.
Repeat, well, kind of a repeat of the summer final that only happened what was it, 2 weeks, a week ago? It was not that long,
Quite
like
recently,
14 days.
Yeah.
Literally 2 weeks. It was a holiday ago.
Do we need to address a
changes.
certain thing that occurred during that series?
No, I think we can move on. I think we can move on from Little Pants and maybe a number of deaths.
Breaking all the death records.
Breaking every death record, dying 14 times a game. It's fine. It's okay. Sometimes it happens. You drink too much. At certain points, like in our age, we talk about age. At our age, we know how to handle our drink. Sadly, some people may not. Anyway, Verdant versus Bron Friends. A few changes on the rosters have come up. We'll have to see if today those matter. I see you said we don't have a graphics. I don't know if you want me to go over. I can quickly go over. We obviously had a few changes on Verdant's side. You want to quickly
shout them through? Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, so for the Summer Showdown, you had a roster that was Bear Tree, Tofu, Errol, and my brain's gone. For you, Little Pants, that's changed now. Bear Tree has moved to mid lane. Refresh 27 from the Paragon roster of last split has moved over into the top lane. Be interested to see how that dynamic works out, because obviously Errol was an absolute monster. Maybe we'll be seeing him later. We might see him later. We might be seeing him later. But that was to see how obviously Bear Tree moves over. On the other side, Bron Friends was running Bron in the summer. Now back to Bron Friends. They've picked up the old LCA bot lane, or the Cabbage bot lane, obviously with Spark and Zeta. They've got Trizzy still in there. They've got Gov. They've got Nemly. This is a bit of a battle, not Battle of Titans, but Battle of Titans of the UK scene at least.
Ben, any of these names ringing on? Like, are you familiar with any of these names?
I don't know.
On the rift.
You learn them.
To be honest, I'm just going along, nodding my head and smiling, saying, "Yes, Rob. It sounds like you know exactly what you're talking about."
Honestly, that is the perfect, exact entrance for all of us. I think when we got into the UK scene, we're like, there are a whole bunch of words that just got thrown at me. I don't know what they are, but I'm sure they're great, and you're about to find out just how great they are, as indeed. Verdant, it's going to be interesting to see their new look. Obviously, Bear Tree back to mid lane. Man switched between roles dozens of times, so I'm not really worried about how he's going to perform. Refresh, we know as a notorious Camille merchant, I would say, or at least most known for his Camille.
I'm not allowed to pass comment, I think, on Refresh. I did coach him for an entire split.
I mean,
so
yeah,
I can't pass comment on any of this.
That means you know things, though.
You know, put it like this: you don't need to know. All you need to know is that Refresh, he is occasionally has absolute monster games, and occasionally plays Camille into Renekton and dies. That's all you need to know. And he's a really nice guy. He's a really good top laner. When it's like his back's up against the wall, he performs massively. When he's locked in, he performs massively. Otherwise, he can sometimes, he sometimes for fun games it a little bit, which is what we saw in the Summer Showdown finals. So maybe he'll fit right in. But yeah, and other than that, I mean, you're not going to see anything that really differs from teams that we saw. I mean, we've seen these players for ages. Obviously, it's an introduction to the scene. Menace there's a lot of these players, like a lot of them play on LAN. Rip Insomnia would have happened a couple weeks ago. They usually were playing at those tournaments over and over and over and over again. So maybe could be their replacement. I don't know. Summer Shadow maybe was their replacement, but I guess we can go for that since that you might know, which is I wonder what these people are going to be playing, because this is Worlds Patch, isn't it, Brackish?
Worlds Patch, baby.
Worlds Patch.
Let's go to something that may be a little bit more expertise for Menace. Worlds Patch. Is there anything you're excited to see? Anything you want to see? Anything you think is going to be strong?
Well, you see, Rob, I watched Cagel's video, and he brought up a big point. How I think it's something stupid like 11 of the top 13 champs played in the LCK are getting nerfed,
Yeah.
which is incredible. So obviously, major draft shifts. I think Riot are really trying to switch it up. They don't want the ADCs back in the mid lane. They want to see those mages come back because let's be honest. They center the world's patch around what they think fans want to see, and they want to see a typical mage in the mid lane, not a Corki or a Smolder in every game. Although the Smolder
Interestingly, though-
nerfs don't seem too bad. So
Yeah. Also, we're looking at Ziggs, who is gonna get naturally nerfed if there are more mid laners being AP mages, but if we do still have some AD mid laners, and it's certainly here in the UKL, I know we've got plenty of Yone players.
Yone!
Yeah,
He's
Yone.
completely
Yeah.
broken. Pick him
We've
every
got a whole
game.
bunch of
Nico Ban.
those, and so
We've got a lot of top Yones as well. There's a lot of
true.
people in this league that just love that champion, and he is completely and utterly broken. He is the
sure
best.
is.
But jungle might be a bit of a question. I just want to bring this up. AP junglers, Lilia got nerfed. May not matter if you're a good Lilia player. It's still decent nerf. AP junglers not so good. Maokai got nerfed. So maybe we see more of these. Like, we also have a lot of Jarvan players. There's a lot
Yeah.
of people in
I
this
think
league.
Jarvan's definitely going to come back.
A lot of Jarvan players in
Did
this league.
Jarvan go anywhere?
Yeah, I mean, when you have Ori
It feels
coming
like
back,
he's
a little
always
bit.
just kind of on the fringes at the very least.
I mean,
I think
when Ori
teams just
comes
love
back-
him, don't they?
Yeah, and it's like I again, this you get to have like a history lesson here. Every jungler in this league plays Jarvan and Xin Zhao. They love these champions, and so with Orianna coming back in, maybe you end up seeing Ari coming back in with the buff. Maybe you see sort of Nico was something that I think people who saw rising at the listing. LS put on their list quite highly as well, and we know
He has
Nemli's
been rising
Nico.
in popularity a lot.
Yeah, Nemli's Nico on Broad and Friends, the mid laner of Broad and Friends, are absolutely
Spooky.
ridiculously good at that champ. Yeah, really
Yep.
good on Nico. So have to see as the bans come through what changes.
I mean, I see Little Pants Alistair gone. That's
Yeah.
I mean, kind of a required ban when he's not, 8 deep.
Yeah. Maybe he is an absolutely monstrous Alistair player. These bans, you're going to see a lot of targeted bans. Ziggs is an interesting ban. We know Fiyu plays it. Bear Tree, I think, plays it as well. So it is pretty strong. Quay ban is definitely against Bear Tree in mid.
Yeah. So the Skarner ban though, which is a champion that fell away a lot, but has been creeping back up in recent patches. Still building Heartsteel quite a lot, and also Jhin has been seen a good amount. I
Oh, Jhin
Don't
blind.
know if I
Hey,
think he was.
Yeah.
What? Ben,
Jhin
go on,
blind.
Dennis, go on. Run this one down.
So, Jhin blind is very, very strange because you want to pick Jhin into typically squishy comps. Jhin versus tanks tends to not go very well. You've only got the 4 shots. Normally it's seen as like a first, maybe like a B3, R3 pick rather than a B1. I mean, it's very strange. But no surprise here, there's Xin Zhao coming in. I'm guessing that's for the challenger
That'll just be
player
Pop.
in
Drizzy.
Singular. Yeah, that'd
You're
be
going to
Pop.
learn Trizzy's name. Trizzy is an
By the way,
absolute
it's-
monster
Rob,
in
Rob,
the
it's
UK
Pop.
scene. What? Sorry?
It's Pop.
It's Port playing. Oh my god. Oh, I'm so embarrassed.
Pop.
It's Port.
It ain't
It's
even
Port.
Trizzy.
Port. It's not even Trizzy. Okay,
I mean-
ignore me. Ignore me. Oh my
Well,
god, I'm
let's
so
remember
embarrassed.
though, Pop, former NLC Division
Also a
1
monster.
player.
Also a
Yeah.
monster.
Okay.
And I mean,
Yeah.
Xin Zhao kind of just chills into Jhin. Like,
Yeah, it's very good.
Present
It's
Guard nopes his ultimate.
Ice is also.
Jhin is going to try and get lockups from long range before really trying to close the distance with 4 shots. And so, yeah, Pop's going to mostly be chilling out here. The Kai'Sa is the follow-up here for Spark.
Kai'Sa's good here, to be honest. It also outranges Jhin later if you go like get your AP evolution. There's none of that change. There's also that PBE change where it's going to go through minions. That's not come through yet. So
No.
Kai'Sa's just still really good. You can go the AP build here if you really want to and kind of go for like a long range artillery if they start drafting in a way that makes it stronger. Syndra.
Speaking of good range,
Syndra blind. It's very interesting to blind both your ADC and your mid laner when you don't really. There's other mid laners, like for example, if you are a Yone player here, I don't know if Nemli is. Nemli's not really a Yone player from my
No,
memory.
that doesn't
Yone
link to mind.
is very good, although it is annoying to go double AD jungle mid. But Syndra blind, Camille blind for refresh. They're just going to blind every single one of their carries.
I mean, if this doesn't get punished, I don't know what will.
Exactly.
Camille blind, Jax is open, Renekton's open.
yeah, so, this is really just Verdant really just going, deal with us. This
Like,
is really...
Refresh is a good Camille player, and I can tell you from
Yes.
experience, he will say Camille's my best pick. Pick me Camille here into literally every matchup in the game. But Gragas is still around. That's a
there's
gov pick.
Renekton.
Renekton's a gov pick as well. So both of those are
Yeah.
really good into Camille. Bizarre to blind the Camille this early without banning to cover it at least. The Syndra is also a little bit odd because I think there's a number of mids that Nemli has left, like maybe an Ari could fit in here. You could still go for like a Karma if you really wanted to. Oriana's still fine as well into Syndra. That's like a handshake matchup.
I mean,
It's
yeah,
it's
Oriana-
interesting to see. Verdant's kind of just gone, we're going to beat you. We don't care. We're just going to pick everyone
Yeah,
we want.
no,
When we want,
I
we don't
agree.
care.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, kind of feels that way. And I mean, if we were to see an Oriana hit, obviously could get banned. I think Verdant would be quite wise to ban it in this situation. Meanwhile, Broad and friends are going to take the Jarvan away, so no access to that for Tofu. But I mean, if the Oriana does end up coming through here, Xin Zhao, Renekton, both great ball delivery systems. Also, don't count out the possibility of a Killer Instinct into the backline followed with a Shockwave. That is something that can happen, and it can
It
be
will not.
terrifyingly effective.
I love the thought. It won't happen.
Hey, I'm a dreamer, all right? I want to see that happen on my screen and get either the Kai'Sa or the Oriana or Pentakill, all right? Is that too much to ask for, Bennis?
It's not. I'm looking at these bans. I'm not loving it. It seems like they've Broad and friends have realized they think they want an AD jungler. They're targeting those AD junglers. It's a ban, sorry, for Verdant. On the other side though, a Seraphine ban, Galio ban, and then an Ari, I think easy pickup. It's
Poppy
pretty
is
easy
so good,
into-
by the way.
Into Syndra. Poppy's
Poppy,
really good here.
Poppy for Tofu in jungle here is, even with the Oriana, which I saw the Ari hover, that is
Yeah,
a Nemli
hang
pick,
on.
but Poppy is
Jarvan Kai'Sa, not Jarvan, Xin Zhao Kai'Sa.
Xin Zhao,
Renekton.
Kai'Sa, Renekton. If you
Yeah.
go Rel, and then like I
Oh.
would round it out with like maybe I like Poppy. I think she's still pretty good in jungle. It's a bit harder now with the Oriana. Like when it was Ari hovered and it's a Nemli pick, so I assume they'd lock it. That was like, oh, it's a Poppy angle 100%. Oriana changes it a little bit, but I mean, I just think Poppy is just absolutely OP broken into what they're playing already.
Devil Poppy
Yep.
locked in. Fair
Okay.
play, Rob.
I mean, B1 through 3 were question marks, but that's a windmill slam on B4.
It's not gonna be a worry. Don't worry. I'm gonna say that confidently now that it won't be a work and they're just baiting.
So, something we
Lulu.
have been seeing is enchanters are coming back a little bit. It's not something I would expect Little Pants to play. That's much more like it.
I would expect the Janna. Oh, Shen.
No, Shen support has been rising.
It could be Shen
Also,
jungle
Shen
as well. And Poppy
jungle
support.
has been, yeah. I mean, either way works, right? I mean, Poppy kind of chills because she can throw a buckler to set up for a Jin Deadly Flourish. It's
Mm.
not the most robust of combos, but if that were to line up, then that allows Poppy to reposition for a charge into the wall. Tell me if I'm gonna, existing on Cloud Cuckoo land here, but
No, I mean, I was gonna say, I think Poppy is actually, now that I think about it, Poppy support is the one that it's gonna be here because it also denies pretty much every other engaged champ. The only champ you see people picking LCK for enough into Poppy is the Braum. It's not an engage, but it's the only thing you've got left. You don't want to pick like Thresh Lantern gets cancelled, which is a Zeta. Like he's not really a support player. He's always been a top laner, but he plays Thresh. That can't really be picked. Nautilus, not really picked. Rel, you don't want to play Rel into Poppy. Alistair's already gone. So the only thing really left is Braum. But I think this Shen is going to go to the jungle, which Tofu must have been listening to LS's Kool-Aid or something. He's been drinking that.
I mean,
that
Shen
opium.
jungle is good.
It's good, but I still haven't seen it in an organized match yet. I've tried it myself. I've seen it in like scrims and stuff, but I've not actually seen it in a competitive game. And I'd be really interested to see if they can actually pull it out here because in theory, this game it's really really good. You've got plenty of ways to deny the Oriana engage. It is going to be a Shen jungle.
Shungle.
This is going to be
Or
exciting
River Shen,
because
or whatever you want to call it.
it's going to be the first competitive game of Shen jungle I've seen.
We'll have to see how Tofu pilots lock that one out. Of course, it has some fantastic utility. It means that Camille gets to chill on a side lane, and it's always, even at the worst case, an XV2.
It's good into Xin Zhao. Really good into Xin Zhao. Just the W, the Shen W automatically means the knockup doesn't come through. It's good into Orianna because it denies the shockwave sort of insta kill onto someone like the Jhin, for example. You can peel really well. You can also look to make plays with the Camille. More I think about it, this Shen jungler is actually really, 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 really good this game. Denies Renekton stun if you want to with a W. Braum stun.
passives. Yeah.
It's so good, and their Braum was picked into it. So I mean, Tofu, who I'm going to say, having watched Summer Showdown, didn't have the best time in some of those games. He got caught out a couple of times, but this is a full utility jungler. This is the way you build this Shen jungle. Isn't I'm going to kill you. This is redemption. This is like Locket. This is
Knight's Vow.
Knight's Vow. This is Mikael's or something like this. Like full support items. So maybe he's switched in his mindset. He was playing the AP carry junglers, and now he's going towards what is a complete support. I'll be interested to see if this is actually going to help him, because with the addition of Refresh was a heavy carry player. You've got 3 carry threats. He's had to give up his carry sort of potential in the jungle. Maybe he should adapt, and hopefully we'll see if he can.
So, let's try and focus in a little bit more. Bennis.
Hello. I just let you guys.
How are you feeling about your particular corner of the rift? This particular, very specific matchup.
What, in top lane?
Hmm.
So yeah, in top lane, Camille versus Renekton. It's very Renekton favored. Renekton's able to get rid of that Camille shield passive with his empowered W. I think the bot lane matchup is a little bit of like if whichever side goes in first is kind of gonna lose, especially Verdant. I think if that Poppy's trying to find a Kai'Sa on a wall or something, or Braum on a wall, I think those Braum stacks will just keep stacking on, and it'll just turn into a bit of a shit show. Pardon the language. And then mid lane, it's mage versus mage. Will you see much? Probably not. I mean, it's probably going to be heavily jungle influenced. Otherwise, all I'm saying is I don't think we're going to see many solo bolos mid. I don't think we're going to see much 2v2 bot. But I'm hoping that top lane, that Camille will get punished because it was illegal. It was an illegal blind pick. I need to make that very clear. You can't be blind picking Camille when Renekton and Jax are open. I don't know how capable this top laner is, Broad and Friends with Renekton, but we'll have to see.
Refresh has a lot to prove to Bennis, it seems. But
yeah.
I mean, speaking of no solo bolos,
goddamn right he does.
Speaking of there being no solo bolos in mid lane, we have to remember the fact that this is UKEL though, Rob. And these are both players that are not afraid to go for all-ins.
I think I spoke to who will be my co-caster in a minute in DM saying in UKEL, you'll be sat there making an analytical point and they'll just randomly start fighting. There won't be an objective. There won't be a dragon, there won't be a grub, there will be nothing. There'll be a ward maybe, and they'll just start fighting each other. Which is it's great League of Legends to watch because it's just a constant fighting, but sometimes it ends up being into a bit of a clown fiesta.
That's just how the way we like it.
I just want to add to Bennett's point about the Camille blind being super illegal.
But we're actually very close to getting into game,
Oh.
and I know that you need to walk between some rooms to be ready for the first game.
No,
because you are indeed on the cast for this game.
Bye.
And that does mean that we are going to have to send it across. Ben and I will be back after this game, but we are first going to throw it across to our casters for games 1 and 2. It is Rob, and it is Etrurian. Boys, take it away.
Hello, everybody, and welcome. So, I think so. That will be amazing to see this blind pick Camille. I don't know. I'm starting to be scared about Camille blind pick. Rob?
Yeah. Funny enough, out of every player in the league I could talk about, it would be Refresh 27. This guy, he loves Camille and he doesn't care. I coached him last split. He'll pick it into Renekton. He doesn't care. And I think that you're going to see this game. Bennis on desk was saying, it's this should be punished. There should be loads. I want to see this Camille punished, loads of death. Sometimes the Camille pops off a refresh. Sometimes against the Renekton, it's a disaster. And there is like 4, 5, 6 deaths. So you could be seeing a massive bloodbath in this top lane. And that's kind of how it often goes. It'll be also intriguing to see how they manage to use it. I love Shen. It is the rune's an interesting choice for the Shen. I'll just bring that up. I'm just seeing here. It's Grasp. Usually you see like a Hail of Blade Shen. I think that's what LS was recommending when he made that Shen jungle guide like 4, 5, 6 months ago, whatever it was.
Okay.
Like Hail of Blades usually is what you see. Grasp is a little bit unusual because, as we all know, you kind of need to be constantly fighting to make that route worth it. And Shen jungle he's jungling. He's not hitting you in lane. But other than that, I would be watching the Shen, the Camille, and the rest of the map is going to be quite slow, I'd imagine.
I mean, what interested me during the pick and ban, you told already, is like they picked up top mid AD carry blind. And I was like, okay, this is quite interesting. And it feels like that if by any chance Bob and friend will just going like wrecking ball, like straightforward, it's quite difficult to save the AD carry and Bertrand. That's why Pop is there. That's why as well Shen is there. But let's talk about Shen because I'm not gonna lie. There's this thing that I never saw since ages. Either in the top lane, in the Italian league where I'm from, Shen was like sleeping there, living there, taking nothing, not interested. What's going on with the new Shen?
It's always been okay. It's just a lot of top laners and junglers weren't particularly happy on picking up, as we see Gov having a bit of a dance in the bush there. But no, the Shen, it's been something that has been kind of on the edge. It's actually had a few decent matchups on top. I think if we look at much higher up leagues, people like Bwipo, he was playing it a couple times. But other than that, you don't really see it. It's come back mostly because of the fact that firstly in jungle, the shielding items are completely broken still. Being able to, go redemption, go stuff like Locket, Moonstone Shen is broken as well. So you're able to get Shen to those 2-3 items on the supportive style, have a ultimate shield that's 700, 800 HP, and make pretty much one member of your team completely unkillable. But in a game like this, in specifics, it denies Renekton stun. We said in draft, it denies Renekton stun. It denies Xingqiao knockup. It denies, Kai'Sa passive stacks. It denies Braum passive. So this game, it could just be a Shen 1v5 angle in some ways because any amount of damage he blocks with his, I believe it's Spirit's Refuge. That is I think the name of the Shen W, the auto attack blocking ability. That has crazy value this game. As we're just seeing fighting kind of across the board, but as we said, we don't imagine too much is going to go down early.
I mean, this is another thing that I starting to be interested in. Meantime, Brian trying to be more aggressive. Is God block it? Brian! Oh, flashing. Okay, fair enough. It's a safe. Jhin with the comments. I'm really starting to feel like that I was sleeping for an year, at least.
I'll be honest, I have not seen the Comet Jhin. I've seen obviously stuff like Fleet Footwork, which I imagine in this lane I could see him taking. Dark Harvest was another one. Comet I imagine is just another ability to poke them down, as we're seeing little trades in the top lane. But no, Jhin Comet, interesting if you are going to play a more pokey style. I don't think you really can in this game. I think the Xin Zhao is still going to be able to get on top of you, along with, the Kai'Sa jumping in with her ultimate. So I wonder how much value that's going to bring later. I imagine it's just simply there to sort of put a bit more damage down in lane.
Okay, no, because really it's something that I will never imagine.
I've never seen it.
On that. Okay.
I've never seen it myself.
You told me as well that it was more like I need to be prepared for everything, and I was thinking about something that will come and you will be, I saw it, so, here we are trying to do something more different. And so, I'm looking forward to see how the Comet will work during the laning phase, I imagine, mostly. And jungler are cleaning up their jungle really fast. They're trying to do their best to be as fast as possible. Both of them take the scrub as well. It's something really calm. Maybe they're trying to wait for the possibility. We just saw before Brian trying to be more aggressive and be punished by Spark and Zeta, and we saw it. He needed to flash it to get out from danger.
Yeah, and I think it was also said, whichever bot lane goes in first kind of loses here. If you jump in as the Braum, you're not going to be able to get back out, and they're going to be able to sort of wall stun you, sort of run you down. But on the other side, we saw, a minute ago, the other way around, if you jump in, Braum stun's going to hit you, and you're going to have to get out some ways the Poppy is. There's a 2v2.
Oh, Brian is dead. The first blood for Zeta, which is something that we was thinking about, as we said before. If you try to be aggressive, be aware of the stun of anything. And Tofu is a little bit late to the party, seems like.
Just a little bit. I don't imagine there's going to be a return kill. Look at the damage from the Renekton and the wave as well.
And it's coming as well. Xin Zhao, pay attention to refresh. You need to be aware and escape. Thanks to his E, the hook shot, getting straight away out from danger.
But this wave top lane for this Camille is a bit of a disaster. It was at the moment frozen. The Camille's going to have to back. There is a TP. Oh, I thought Gov was actually going to freeze top it. Look, there was enough minions there. He decided to break the freezes Renekton maybe to get himself out of the lane. that he is down a TP and now going to be down a little bit of combat power thanks to the Camille having the Sheen. And look at the damage already from the Camille, even in a counter matchup.
It is really impressive, but still Shinzao is there to help his teammate just in case. And the refresh need to break down this big minion wave coming through him. Right now is, again, just the first blood. Afterwards, Rob, is nothing really important. You said before there is a counter matchup as Renekton is strong against Refresh. You think more going forward to the game, we will see Refresh be the big boss in the Summoner's Rift and we'll try maybe a 4-1?
I mean, if there's one player I can kind of imagine knows what he's doing in Renekton, it is Refresh. So I was just seeing a little bit of trade here as Tofu's here to gang.
Tofu is coming, they pick it up, and they will try and they will get the kill on Brian. Sorry, on Zeta. Brian was the one getting the kill. Unfortunately, Pau was a little bit late, and right now he needs just to cover to be sure that his ADC Spark can just farm and just get out from the possibility of another kill.
But this could... Okay, they're not going to... Wait, hold on. No, Tofu, they've cancelled the base. I was going to say, I imagine you could at least maybe look to try and look for a dragon here, as you also have Bear Tree moving over. Yep, okay, they're going to start it up, so they are going to get even more off this kill. Porp has to be a bit careful walking in, because he is walking in blinded to 4 members, although Zeta is here to assist.
Zeta, now, the first one. Now he's trying the flash
Chaos.
from Gemly, and he's trying more Tofu. Tofu needs to go outside. The shockwave doesn't get in any enemy. And Gov is there ready with his Dominus. Not TP for him, not TP for Refresh. Refresh decide to not join the party, and he got a bigger chunk minion wave getting into the turrets of a team on the right side.
Yeah, I mean, if you're Renekton walking down there, you've got to make something happen. Because...
And
Emily.
yes! Lion more aggressive. Lion helped to get the kill.
Nemly just disrespecting Poppy really there and not understanding that the damage
It's
is
coming
there.
as well.
Ruyu's going to die as well.
Spark versus Fully. There is a word and there is a kill. Spark 1v1.
I mean, initially, I was going to say Verdant are doing quite well here. They got out of that fight. Porp got taken quite low. Gov had walked down to try and assist, and that had given Camille a chance to get a decent CS lead in top lane and push that wave and get an XP lead, I imagine, as well. In the end, it doesn't matter because you end up, even though you pick up Nemly, now Spark picking up the kill on this Kai'Sa. Kai'Sa could have a field day this game if he does walk towards getting those AP items. As he's just got to be careful here.
Yeah, you need to be careful now, Bartra, because there is as well is enemy, the Dominus on Tofu. They are fighting in 2 different positions. Gov is a little bit too forward, maybe as well Brian, but he's getting out. The flash from Gov now. It's coming as well. Camille, refresh! Get the one! Get the stun! He may be getting through. No, he just wait. It doesn't go forward. He doesn't have the possibility to use his ult.
Yeah, maybe he was a bit scared of using the Hextech ultimate in there because obviously there were reinforcements coming in for the side of, well, for the Renekton. In the end, no one falls again. These are kind of crazy fights. I just want to bring up that the Poppy damage there was absolutely disgusting. It's Nemly.
There should be attention. It's coming as well. The shockwave. Battery is really low enough as Gremly. Brian try to get another kill on the book for his team, but for sure really a little bit. If Battery had the ult in this case, the unleashed power will be awesome in this possibility.
Yeah, ends up, it's just there's a number of fights here where no one has died. We've had, I think, 3 fights in a row, not in a row, but very, very close succession, where they've tried to make something happen, both sides, and no one's fallen. So this dragon, this first dragon, which looked like it might have gone over to the side of Verdant earlier on, where they got fought off of it, now goes over to Bron and Friends, obviously, Porp picking that one up. And the game is in a bit of a chaotic state. We see CS leads in top and mid for the side of Verdant, but we also see a CS lead for the side for Spark in the bot lane for Bron and Friends, and which is a bizarre sentence I never thought I'd say. Spark was always on different teams. It's weird now, these roster changes. But it ends up being that there's 1,000 gold lead for Verdant, but it doesn't necessarily feel like that because of the fact that Kai'Sa is getting quite fed here, almost on the way to their Shiv.
And it seems like doesn't go for the AP build, as we said you said as well during the pick and bomb phase. The artillery Kai'Sa in this case is more going forward to go with the real deal as an AD carry. we saw as well a lot of time. Zeta is a little bit forward. I was starting to be scared if it was looking by the enemy team, but lucky for him as well. All the team is like on the bottom side. We saw Shinzao as well. Is not really that much away from his bottom lane. And what we don't talk a lot is the mid lane. These two ults, the Shockwave and the Unleashed Power, could be really the game changer in a team fight. We said as well with the Shockwave, with the no-cap of Power, with a stun of Gov, you can try to get killing instant and getting this Wrecking Ball, trying to get through the backside of the team of the Verdant. But right now seems like that the mid lane is like sleeping and waiting.
Yeah, and it's kind of this matchup which was kind of meta, at least in the UK scene about 6 months ago. It was maybe a bit longer now, actually, about 8 months ago. It was Syndra Orianna, like every game, or nearly every game. A lot of the other mid laners ended up being banned. It was Syndra Ori, Syndra Ori, Syndra Ori. And it's just a very slow matchup. You don't ever really get any solo kills in it unless, only jungler, the jungler interference really matters. And at some point, both of them come online. The Syndra, getting a couple items, getting a few, some of her stacks on. The Orianna getting a couple items as well. That's when they sort of come into these team fights and sort of one-shot a squishy member and sort of carry. And other than that, it's a pretty great matchup. Refresh! You gotta be careful here, bud.
There is a slice, the flash by Poe. They try to get Tofu is there. He's trying with the E to get in through. The ultimatum X-Tech doesn't now get in. And it seems as it will be a kill. Refresh need to escape. Refresh getting back. Poe is dead. Now Gove against two people really low on health. Go. Slice and dice could be the game changer for this fight. Is coming through. The flash from Tofu is getting out from danger. Is Zeta coming as well? And now Refresh getting out. And Poppy with his hammer get out of danger. His teammate.
Yeah. That was... It looked okay. Like they might have caught Refresh. Tofu comes in, misses the taunt, ends up saving his teammate's life. And I was seeing obviously the Poppy coming in to support. And it was... Oh no, wait, Refresh TP'd in.
Spark. You was alone, and alone you will die.
And so Benis isn't getting his wish of this Camille being punished. Camille is up to about 5 CS, 2 kills ahead as well. Already got the Trinity Force. I said Refresh sometimes has great games on this Camille, even in counter matchups, and it's looking like this game he is having an absolute barn burner. He's having a wonderful game on this Camille. And then even though he has got picked up that kill bot lane, the Grubs are going to go over to Broad and Friends. So even though they're losing out on the map, Spark dying obviously in bot side, they're still looking to get these objectives. They picked up, the first Grubs went over to the side of Verdant. These Grubs, which kind of need to go over to Broad and Friends, are going to Broad and Friends. And they aren't giving up here, Broad and Friends. They are actually trying to fight back, but they now have to be careful because although the Shen ult is down, every time they try and make a play, although Refresh is getting caught in top as I sung his praises, we'll have to see if he can get out.
Oh, the flash! That's pretty good. But on the opposite side, Unleashed Power. Dominus is not enough. There will be death.
Alive.
There will be no. Oh. Yes, it is. I saw the flash and I didn't saw the last auto attack. I was really afraid. He does get out from the death. Gov instead diet. But on the opposite side, Spark and Zeta can try to build gold advantage from one side. On the opposite side, Fury is happy to do all this alone.
They really need to be Refresh.
Refresh.
Walking back up.
He's coming the killer instinct, and now the damage is coming as well. The no cap. Ultimatum X-Tech. Puff is alive. Spark get the kill. Is a beautiful if you think for the red team because now they can get out alive. Maybe not because Zeta now try to save his friend Poe. Is coming Tofu. And Brian is coming maybe to kill someone or maybe not. Yes, it's coming thanks to his E. Syndra, discard of the week. Stop the weak and get the kill.
He's got to be a bit careful as well.
Oh, this is a
okay.
happy feat from Gremley. Now he gets stop. No, for you.
Oh, that was a little bit scary for Nemli there, as Tofu's is there in assistance as well. Refresh walking back up is quite greedy, getting picked off. Obviously, he had support coming in, but it was entirely possible that they could have got him and got out there. I think in the end, it does end up coming up to the side of Verdant. You know, Verdant won that trade, but it wasn't as cut and dry as it could have been. It wasn't as good as it could have been. But Refresh right now, he's so strong versus this Renekton, and Poppy's here, and so's the Jhin.
I'm sorry, God. You will starting to understand that you cannot anymore try to fight with Refresh, and when it's coming, his friends, it's a party for Verdant. In the meantime, as well, a Drake for Verdant is 1-2-1. I need to understand which is... Okay, the Camplands Bloom, so he's the Chemtech Drake coming. And the Refresh now will get in a free tower, I imagine.
Yeah, and right, we were questioning, you know, whether the Camille could do something this game. It looks like Refresh is going to be able to be very impactful. Usually Renekton sort of stonewalls him, says no, Camille, you can't. Doesn't seem to matter this game. The Renekton getting caught out there. But what Verdant has done is every single time that one of them has tried to fight an enemy, anyone on the enemy team, Verdant have always brought the numbers. Every fight, it looks like there, Camille is jumping on Renekton. But there's two more members of Refresh's team, the Poppy and the jungler. And Renekton has to be concerned. He's a level down. And even though there's a bit of HP difference, Refresh doesn't care.
I mean, Refresh seems like he feels so strong in like, I don't care. You could be full of health, but I'm full of really a lot. It feels like, and you see as well, Gob now trying. He doesn't get the damage to get off from the recall Refresh, but you saw it. He tried to see if there was no one there because it felt like someone will come to be a 2v1 situation, and Renekton now is not anymore the big crocodile making people scared. It seems like, seeing for our Refresh is trying to be aggressive.
And once Renekton, I mean, Refresh is looking again. He doesn't care about the wave. He's letting the wave crash. He's going to try and 1v1 the Renekton.
Ultimatum X-Tech is
Spark's
coming
here.
as well. Kai'Sa Spark tried to help his teammates.
Oh my God.
That is not enough. Refresh now is coming up. All the party to Spark. Scatter the weak. The flourish is come. Is a double kill for Refresh.
And this Renekton into Camille, this blind Camille ends up working out, which obviously means it was a good no. In the end, this has just been a bit of a top lane diff. Let's be honest, this Camille is so super strong, and we see there that once this Camille is stronger, she's going to have impact on this game because she can fight the Renekton. She's going to be able to get onto the Kai'Sa, on the Orianna. Look on the other side, if you're Renekton here, after laning phase where you should be stronger than Camille, how do you even get onto Jhin or Poppy or Syndra? Or you don't want to go near them because you're not going to be able to. Are you going to dash in? Poppy stops you. Are you going to try and flash in? You get knocked back by Syndra. You're going to be rooted by Jhin. So the Renekton now is going to really struggle. He's 0-3-0. He's gone this squishy Eclipse build. How much impact is he going to have? He's 2,000 gold behind on Refresh.
I'm so afraid to say that, but it seems like that now Verdant have all the possibility to stop as well. You say it, you want to go forward, Gob not anymore feels like the big threat for the Verdant team. And we think about that. The hammer from Poppy, the Keeper's Verdict, can get out the enemy team. See you again, Spark. Maybe no, because Zeta tried to save his teammate. Oh, I'm sorry. Sorry, Zeta. The 4 shot is the one who make you dead. And in the meantime, Spark was alone against Brian.
And I'll be honest, coming into this game, as Tofu, they're looking for a dive. Are they going to...
No, they will die. They will die.
They're all going to die.
You need to use the Dominus. Bertrade, the damage is really a lot. He's coming as well, Tofu. He's trying and he will get the kill for you. I will say that I didn't imagine that much damage. It's coming as well, the shockwave. Brian trying to keep everybody out. Shut down from Poe. Now he's in the middle. Oh, the flash will fool you. It's really low on health. Bertrade tried to get the kill maybe on Poe. He doesn't get the last ball to get the chunk of the HP of Poe.
I mean, I was going to say coming into this game, I thought Verdant would win because they have such a strong core and they've added a carry top laner. They've changed the stuff around, but they'd still be strong. They look way stronger than I thought. Renekton, I mean, they're going to be scared of Refresh here. The damage is disgusting.
Refresh, it seems like he will get out. He's coming as well, Bertrand. Bertrand maybe got look at by some words. Bertre is coming to as well. And now the TP. Maybe we'll get a kill now at the moment. Refresh need to be aware.
Double
It's two
TP.
TPs. The flash for Zeta. Now he's coming to the mage. The shadow
Nice
for
get the
Kaza.
shutdown.
This is pretty good. Now Poppy tried to get out Gov. And now the killer instinct. See how he moves. Tapu need to be afraid. But he will get out with the E. The dash is the one that carry most.
And I'm going to give as long as there's any crazy fight that happens, I'm going to give a little history lesson. Last split, when they were on Lions Creed Academy, Spark, Porp, and Zeta was their coach at the time, and he came in for RPS. But that team were known for making ridiculous comebacks. They didn't necessarily have the best early games. They didn't necessarily, play the best for the first 15 minutes. But then something would happen, something would click at about 15 to 20 minutes, maybe even a little bit later, and they would make these ridiculous comebacks. And Spark's got to be careful, because I'm saying they're going to make a comeback, but this is suicidal.
This could be interesting. Now the last shot from Fury is coming. Po, the flash and the kill. In the meantime, Refresh is so happy to get another kill.
Oh, no, Po.
Po, this is too much. Po is too much. In fact, he's dead. Spark try to get out in some way. Maybe a turret could be enough. Spark is dead. Everybody down on the side of the red team. They're just Zeta and Golf, but still, they're really outside from the team fight.
I kind of cast a curse to them. I said they make comebacks. They're really, really good from behind. They are able to find plays. Porp often is the one that makes those plays happen. Last split as well, they had a top laner bust. He did it, but he's obviously not here. But Porp was the catalyst in a lot of these fights. And I wondered if they could do it again this game, but immediately as they say that, they catch Spark in mid lane. They try and support their AD carry, Bron and friends. They end up failing. And this is just a bit of a runaway game now. It's obviously 5k gold. It's not the biggest. It's not 10,000, 15,000 gold lead. But you've got a really fed Camille who's going to be able to pick any squishy off. A supportive Shen here who's going to be able to keep that Camille alive. And you're going to have just long-range artillery. You're going to have the Syndra Scatter the Weak, the Jhin Ultimate, the Jhin Deadly Flourish, the W, and Poppy's going to stop you from jumping on them. So I think right now, if you are Bron and friends, you've got to look to get a pick. You're going to have to start grouping in weird spots, do a Fnatic push, and Porp's trying to at least catch Fuyu.
Fuyu is getting out alive. It's coming the ult from Zeta. Spark did the mages enough. It's a kill for him. But Fuyu is still there. Maybe ready to fight for another day. Refresh. Seems like really the big danger is like if you play an horror game and he's the bad guy coming towards you. They will try to take the Baron. Is normal. Tough is death. 20 seconds for him. They need to try to do something maybe. Pay attention, 7,000. Now it's coming the ult from Jhin. The damage is coming. They get out as well. Po, they can try to do something. It's coming the dominance. Ryan get the first kill. And now Ultimate Max for Refresh. Trying to get in and out. In and out. It's coming the ult from as well. Bertrand, the kill for Refresh, the number one. And it seems like this team fight is getting out for Vengeance. And now the last kill. Bertrand got another one. He's on killing spree. An easy Baron for them, seems like.
And Shen may have been picked off before that, but he just ults straight back in. So now they've got the numbers. They've got the members of the... Oh no, never mind. Kai'Sa has fallen. Porp is also being forced out of jungle. Shouldn't fall. He should have the ultimate.
Brian is dead. Bertrand need to be aware. Po is ready. It's coming back. The shutdown for him. Don't try to fight the Xin Zhao. For you now, be aware. Oh, it's good. The last shot was coming out, and it was a really big damage. The taunt on Zeta. Tofu just want to take off the support of the red team and want to maybe get something. No anymore. There's no anymore alive. Bertrand's dead. Refresh is coming back right now. I mean, is the Baron still there?
Yeah. At least they managed to stop the Baron. It looked right there that Verdant would be able to. They got the Kai'Sa, Refresh picking that one up, and I thought they might be able to turn onto the Baron and pick that up as well and sort of accelerate the game, make sure they're actually ending, don't give a chance for these sort of comeback merchants, these people that of the past who managed to make these comebacks happen again and again. In the end, they do pick up a kill. Porp turns it around though, picking up the Poppy, picking up the Syndra, which are two huge sort of kills and gold injection into the Xin Zhao, who he is going to have to go in first a lot of these times. He's got the easiest way of doing that, so he is going to be a little bit tankier, but is this going to be enough? Because they're standing around the Baron again. But on the other side, Verdant, they've got TP on the Syndra. Beartree's just going to stay bot, I imagine. Maybe pick up the... Yeah, okay, imagine he looks to see if the Krugs are up, maybe, but he's going to go push that wave. If you are Verdant, you don't need to force the Baron. You can sort of do a 1-3-1, put Camille top, Syndra bot lane, and then go from there. And just sort of instate, okay, well, if you try and jump on someone on the side, we'll go take the objective on the other side, as Dragon is also spawning in 30 seconds.
I mean, Dragon is spawning in 30 seconds. It will be as well the third for Wild and Friends. But now the guys from Verdant seems like they got more pressure on the enemy team. It feels like that they're trying to looking for something. I mean, they're trying to get a kill. If you get a kill, you will get the Drake. This is the most important part. And Golf against Refresh is a nightmare if you think about bot and Friends.
It's a disaster in that top lane. Look at the item difference right now. 3 for the Camille, 1.5 for the Renekton. So right now they're looking to try and pick Refresh here. They're running straight into this Camille.
I mean,
Porp doesn't care. Porp's just sprinting at him.
I mean, I'm really sorry to say that, but the guys from Verdant has a free Drake?
Yeah, they just gave it up. They've just given the Drake over. There's nothing going to be... You're not going to be able to start this Baron, as the Poppy is also there to check it out, but right now, Broad and Friends seem very lost. They lost the Dragon. Beartree pushed the bot wave all the way up, so they're having to come and answer that one. They can't get the Baron on the other side, so right now, Verdant is just running Broad and Friends around, and there isn't really a response. This is surprising, because the players on the side of Broad and Friends are really, really, really experienced. So are the ones on Verdant. But you usually don't see this kind of macro difference when you've got this much experience on both sides.
I mean, what makes me feel like more going crazy is that 4 people trying to get Refresh, chasing him, doesn't get the kill. Because you get the kill, maybe you can say, I can push top, I can try to get more pressure on the Baron. Doesn't get the kill. They lost the Drake. They lost the boss side, because you can see right now Renekton go need to go right now to try to push this minion wave. And Refresh is like, okay, I have a TP. I can fight 1v1 against mostly anyone. So I will push that. So they need to move someone. If they want to get me, you can get the Baron.
Yeah, and I just think the other thing is this Renekton now, the other issue is he can't put, even with Sterox, he can't push up too far because he will be 1v1'd by Camille. So now he has to go and group. The Camille can now, with a TP, can push up bot lane and threaten that bot turret. And they're going to have to find some way of breaking out of this stranglehold that Verdant have put on this game. As you see the Shen, who, despite being a jungler, has that ultimate, can also push up the top lane. So you don't even need to have your Syndra on side lane. You can just put the Shen there. As there's 5 members here on this Baron right now for Broad and Friends. But there's so many globals. There's 2 TPs and a Shen ult. Are they going to be able to even take a fight? Because right now they're just dancing, and there's more gold going into the Camille on the bot lane.
You can see Camille on the bot lane is there, alone by himself for you. He's trying to push this mid lane, and where Spark getting as well much more gold for him. It seems like Spark is the one who needs to take his team on his back and get more kill, get the team fight done pretty fine. On the opposite side, you saw that's in 5 people against 4, and it doesn't feel like the bottom friends are really looking forward to get a fight 5v4. As you said, we have the TP, the Shen ult. If we are really afraid, we go with the Poppy Hammer. That's it. Not interested to get a fight. And now pay attention to Poe. It's coming Zeta, really good. Now it's coming the ult from Jhin. The kill from Fuyu. The 4 shot. He gets Spark, but it's not really what you're interested. The Slice and Dice to get out from the team fight. Pay attention, top with the flash. Ooh, Spark get golden, and this is fair enough for him. Now Poe try to help his teammate. The Dominos, that kill. The bird is coming too late. The kill on top is important.
Yeah, and this at least helps sort of break it out. But look at Camille on the bot side as well. Misses... Oh, never mind. That was a spectator bug. I thought I might miss Urk shot somehow. But look where there is the support.
Ultimate Max Tech, the flash from Golf. Now it's coming the killer instinct. The kill for Spark. But Golf suicide himself for the glory of Refresh. Double kill again for him.
And what a game. The first game of this autumn-winter split. Coming out of Refresh. off the back of getting third, fourth in RPS with Baragon, comes into this game and kind of makes a statement in a counter matchup against Gov. Gov is a storied top laner in the UK. Yes, he's not, you know, the best top laner. Bear Tree is an excellent top laner despite playing mid, but usually he's very good at these Renekton's, these Gragases, and denying these carries from getting ahead. And Refresh this game has an absolute blinder. Played so well and actually managed to push out sides. And it's interesting to see. I had questions, you know, with Tofu, who usually played a few more carries, at least in the summer showdown. Is he going to play supportive? You know, how's he going to play with Bear Tree, Refresh, and Fuyu, all kind of carry style players? It's looked really good in this game one. And Brod and Friends, these story players, they don't know what they're doing. They seem lost. They're grouping as 5. Maybe they're trying to group as 5 and get a pick, but Verdant aren't allowing that. And if you aren't able to get the picks and you're grouping as 5, you're losing harder and harder. Now what do? You've got a strong Camille. Not Camille, Kai'Sa, she's 4 items. But look at the Camille, 4 items as well. Much stronger if they manage to isolate the Kai'Sa. You've got this Syndra, 3.5 items getting working towards that death cap. She's going to one-shot someone. I think Brod and Friends now have to really be careful. They've got to look for pretty much the perfect fight at 31 minutes.
I mean, right now feels like that this starting to be really enough. It's coming the ult from Poe for saving himself. Ultimatum Exec. Refresh will get maybe the kill. Doesn't getting through. Poe really low now. Refresh in the end with the last out attack. Maybe they can try to get something more. Seems like they will just turn to the Baron.
Yeah, and right now you've got, you know, an extra member here. The Dragon is available, so we'll see an objective trade, unless Refresh has something to say about it. It seems that the Camille and the Poppy are sprinting down there to 2 versus 4, maybe. I have to see. There's no... Maybe going to threaten the base? Never mind. Refresh is going straight for the base. Make them make an impossible decision as Poppy's looking to stop the recalls. This is going to be a bit of a chaotic end to what has been a bit of a dominant performance from Verdant. Look at this. Refresh is going. TPs are coming through.
TP is coming as well. The ult from Shen to help himself. The first turret is down. Pay attention as well to Gov is low on health. Better with the TP. Gov is death. And now they're getting to the second turret. Now Refresh will try to get a kill. Ultimatum access from Refresh. Tofu is really low on health. It's coming as well to the damage from Bear Tree. Zeta is there. Tofu got the kill and now it's getting more health. It's coming the kill from Syndra. Oh, he's low on health again. Fuyu 1, Fuyu 2 is the end.
That's just a really dominant game. Brod and Friends had a couple things. They got a couple picks. Kai'Sa got that 1v1 kill in the bot lane. But that was just pretty much destruction. I did have Verdant as one of my better teams going into the tournament. Top 3, definitely. They looked really good. I had some questions, but these have really been answered because I wonder what Bettis is going to say because this blind Camille... Okay, I'm not going to pretend it is. Do not blind Camille. However, if you're Refresh 27, maybe just blind Camille every game. I definitely cannot endorse that. I cannot say whether that's what you should do, but he looked amazing in this game, really. He looks really good.
I mean, it feels like Refresh so good. Syndra was fair enough. They maybe knew already they will be going to a handshake with Orianna for the early stage, but doesn't make me feel a little bit more worried if you're looking forward. They blind pick Jhin, which was good in the end, but on the laning phase was feel like not really that good. And if it's someone, as Sparks was fair enough, pretty decent work in that bottom lane, but if you can really push on the pedal, on the steering, and try to get more forward in the bottom lane, on the blind pick Jhin, you have question to do. And it feels like that.
Yeah, I'll just quickly add, I think that if your top side is struggling, if your Renekton is losing, is 0-3-0 against in the Camille matchup, if your Orianna isn't able to make much happen, if your Xin Zhao's not that far ahead, the Kai'Sa has a really, really hard time in this game. She can't. If she's going the auto attack build, she's going to auto attack a Camille. No, she's not going to be able to hit them. She's going to be murdered. So I think Spark played pretty well, but I think he might have been let down a little bit by his top side. However, props to Verdant. Verdant looked incredible, and this is a team that I had down for top 3, and I think they will. Already this first game, they look so dominant coming off of the Summer Showdown.
Let's see what will happen soon with Verdant. But now, guys, we take a little break. We're coming back for the next best of 1. Belfast Storm versus Good Chi.
Oh, welcome back, everybody. After what is a great start, perhaps, to the split, it's definitely a good indicator of, what we might come to expect. What those who have been here for a long time know to expect from the Four Nations. Bennis, you certainly fall into the former camp. How's your experience of the first UKL game?
I have learnt a valuable lesson today, gentlemen, that if the matchup looks good, just goddamn ignore it. Because I mean,
One game. It's taken one game.
I mean, and I want to address that Gov, his most played is Camille, and so he should be very familiar with the way the champion works, very familiar with the counter matchups. Coming into this, they know that they're going to prioritize Camille. It's a priority pick. That's probably why it was blind picked. I noticed that Refresh has a Jax in his pool, so he's probably preparing that if it happened the other way around. Gov also plays a lot of Gragas, which is again great into Camille. Maybe he should have opted for that instead. But overall, there was definitely a moment where they were setting up a gank and Camille had hook shot onto the wall and was about to take the aggressive route. But I think Porp showed a little bit too early, so it meant that he was able to hawk shot away. So I think it was a little bit of like, if that had gone a different way, I think the game would have not had snowballed so much topside.
Yeah, it was a massive snowball. I mean, it was a huge snowball topside. And I had questions coming into this entire split. I saw Refresh was on Verdant, and I had questions. In RPS, he played tanks. I made him play tanks, but he played tanks. He played Sion, he played Ornn. He played these kind of champions, and I wondered if he was going to come back in and go back to the Refresh of old, which you saw at the beginning of last split, which was Camille, Jax, maybe an Olaf. And he has on the first game, and he's shown up really well on it. And it's a great first game for Refresh because he's coming into the roster as a new player.
Absolutely, but how much of that do you think is a bit of a meta call? Because top lane tanks, we're not actually seeing all that much of them. It seems like top lane is kind of required to be a decent chunk of the damage share for a team.
It's Renekton, Ornn. I mean, Renekton's not a tank, but he's more of like, you
Ornn's
don't play him as like
because he does damage anyway.
I think it's if you lack the Cassante pick, it really puts you into you've got to go for the carry option. Yeah. I also want to mention as well that I don't know if the players listen to the broadcast of like what we talk about on desk before the game, but exactly what I said, bot lane, where if Poppy goes in, she's going to get exploded by Braum and Kai'Sa. The exact thing happened first blood. And I'm there just like, did he want, I mean, did Lion just want to ignore me or something, try and prove me right? And then he paid the price by giving away the first blood.
I mean, they're a very aggressive team, Vernon. I sort of, if you watch the whole of this game, every single fight, there's multiple, like they're running around at every fight, right? There's multiple times you think, oh, they've caught someone from Verdant, Bron and Friends, and Verdant immediately had Shen there, Poppy there. They were kind of, Tofu wasn't necessarily skipping camps, but he was always, other than the first kill, he was generally there at the fights he needed to be. Briar, Little Pants on the Poppy, generally, other than that first death, I think he'd only died once in that entire game, which was the first death. He was just running around. There's a couple moments where he did save his teammates top side with the keeper's verdict. It's a very classic UKL game. I was going to say he was around the map a lot, but it's a classic UKL game.
I think he realized that roaming was his best bet. The 2v2 wasn't going to happen. I think as soon as he realized the first blood went so badly.
After he died for first blood, yeah.
Yeah, and then he's like, wait, my Jin's got Comet. Which I don't know if that was a misclick. I mean, I had a look, and it is picked the fourth most common. Rune is Comet, and it has a kind of like an okayish win rate, but I mean, I think you would only ever pick it if you were playing with maybe like a Zerath and you were against something very squishy. Otherwise, it's pretty pointless. I mean, but then again, I think you'd opt into Dark Harvest. I know the fleet footwork nerfs were causing some trouble, but I didn't realize we got to this extreme. But we're going Comet on Jin.
With all that said, though, boys, we talked a lot about the previous game. We've still got 3 more to come. Moving on to our second game of the day, we got Belfast Storm up against Good Chi. Obviously, we saw Good Chi in the Sunshine Showdown, but this is not, Rob, the same roster we saw during that tournament.
No, and I want to say we have as much info, but this is the first team you'll see that none of us really have any expectation of. I believe Savonix did give us a little bit of info, him playing on Good Chi in Sunshine Showdown. Other than that, we know there's a GP, ex-challenger GP in the top lane.
Ooh.
Chova
But look
apparently
who's
was
banned.
Chova
Speak
was
of the
a
devil.
was a prodigy in the mid lane in the Danish-Swedish scene. Scouse is
He's only
Scouse.
17.
And in the bot lane, Zivi, who's usually a support, I know he was an ADC in the past, and Water played from Sunside Shadow. So a lot of not that much expectation coming in. I think if you look at some people's tier lists, they were quite low. On the other side, Belfast Storm, Synapse Sprinter in top lane. We know who he is. Dunlossie, we know who he is. Limsey. The bot lane of, I believe it's Mr. Freezed and Varin today. I'm just checking. Yes. I actually know who Mr. Freezed is because he played with an Estonian team of a guy I knew. So he used to play in
What's a
2021.
link? What a
What a
incredible
weird
Welcome
link.
to the scene.
Yeah.
Yeah,
The Estonian team coming in
The
clutch.
Estonian, team, it was like Team Infamous or something, or Team Vortex Gaming or something. This guy is a decent ADC. Varan is, I believe, a Turkish import in the support role. They're pretty good players. I think they had their ADC was Clemmergan. I'm not too sure if it's an upgrade, but Mr. Freeze has history. You see the draft here. Other than the GP ban, it seems pretty standard, right? Chova, I do remember being a very good Ari player though. Very high Ari win rates. That's probably what it's got.
Jin, am I missing
I
something
mean,
there?
he's 100% win rate in autumn, right?
He won last game. It's perfect.
I mean, if it works so good, let's just do it again, right? I mean, they blind picked Jin last time. I guess they want to try and do it again. I mean, Jin into that last team wasn't, amazing in theory, because, the Rectum was going to get tankier, the Xin Zhao was going to get tanky with the ults, and obviously Braum was going to be a bit of an issue, but they just snowballed so hard that I don't think we really saw the extent of the Jin blind struggle. Whether or not we see that this game, we'll see. But again, it's a repeat. It's a Jin Kaiser angle, and
They're just gonna
Brackish.
run back the whole.
I think
Are
Jarvan
we
should
sure
have
we're
been picked
not?
last game,
Are we
though.
sure we're not looking at the same draft here? I mean,
Deja
fans
vu.
are different, obviously, but
Scouse is a Sedge player, which is why it's banned. I was going to say is this. I've had to do some research into these teams as well, and I've seen these are big Sedge fans, so that's already gone. But Jarvan is one I'd imagine you'd probably want to pick up. You could see it being good into the Jin,
Yeah.
forces the flash every single team fight, enables your Kaiser maybe to get on top of them as well. I didn't like the Xin Zhao as much because I felt as much as if you're going to go for the Ori, but the Yone blind, that's really interesting because that is a flex pick. I don't know if he plays it in top, but theoretically you could play it in both those lanes.
Yeah,
So,
definitely. I mean,
It's OP is where it's broken, so pick it every game.
Speaking about this champ, he's just so broken right now. I'm surprised he wasn't. I'm guessing it's just not It's not brought up in the last game because they don't play Yone. But I think if any team has got any sort of experience on this champion in this current patch, it's going to be heavily prioritized. If we see the Xin Zhao pick and an Orianna answer coming through Brackish.
means it's going to have a solid early lane, at least, of course. But Yone just has this habit of getting out of hand real quickly if he's able to pick up a couple of kills. So it is going to be on Limsey to just keep him down. You're probably not going to be able to kill him because it's Yone.
Why are you
But-
taking jungle for good chi though? Because Lilia, I don't know how
Yeah.
much she plays it. Lilia got nerfed. Sedge is not here. Sedge
Lilia's
is usually
also
a great
banned.
pairing. Lilia's also banned. I didn't even see that. Yeah. Volley Bear. This, I imagine,
Really
is going
good
jungle.
1v1 jungler. It's a very good 1v1 jungler. You can throw
Classic
top
into
lane as
Xin Zhao, but
well. It
not the
is
biggest
very
fan.
good into Jin. I kind of like it. From what we're seeing right now from Good Chi, they're definitely at least taking the fight straight to Belfast Storm. They're not going, oh, we're a new team in the league. Oh, we got to play carefully in our first game. No, they're going to lay their cards down on the table and they're going to try and make Belfast Storm be the ones who have to deal with, they want to be the problem. Bennis, they want to be the problem.
They want to be the problem. I mean, the Volley Bear into Xin Zhao, it's a pretty 50-50 matchup. So not really too much in terms of the counter angle. As we see supports ban coming through, I noticed the Rel was banned in the first rotation, but now we're seeing the elimination of these other engaged supports. I'm wondering what's going to be with the Kaiser. You've still got Rakan open. There's the Nautilus being taken away. It seems like Rakan is the only real option left, unless I'm missing someone. Poppy, maybe.
There is still Poppy.
There's Rakan. I mean, now Poppy is open. Obviously, great answer into Rakan. Rakan's got, 2 dashes. Poppy, it's pretty unplayable for Rakan, and Poppy is open. So if this gets locked in, I don't know if the support on Belfast Storm plays Poppy, but he better dust it off because
it's pretty good here. It's good again. It's same as last game. You go, oh wow, isn't that kind of nice to play Poppy in this game? Udyr, that is a Synapse pick. Bryce actually didn't get banned.
Yes,
I
was going to say. Yeah,
it's his OTP in top lane is playing this Udyr.
yeah.
It's every champion in the game. He doesn't care.
Synapse Sprinter or Synapse Sprint it. We will see Udyr anyway.
And I would like to
obviously,
see a
it's-
Poppy.
Oh, okay. I was going to say it's not locked just yet,
Yeah.
and the Poppy is indeed
Yeah, it's good hit.
looking like what
Really good.
Belfast Storm, especially since I feel like it'd be a bit weird to see an Enchanter. We have seen them coming back a little bit more, but with the Jin lane, doesn't really feel like those mesh all that well.
Tarek is Tarek's also okay. I mean, it's obviously not a direct counter
know what's
to
a
Rakan
great-
as much, but
I
that's
think,
Poppy.
to be fair, Cosmic Radiance is a pretty good response to a big Yone combo. Like, if you expect a Fate Sealed, just drop that Tarek ultimate on top of it, and you should be able to absorb a good chunk of damage.
It's not as the lane is a little bit easier with the Poppy though, to be fair. So like I think it does really deny
Yeah.
Rakan really this is really like makes Rakan's life a lot harder. Has to look for different angles, maybe force that not the keeper's verdict, steadfast presence earlier. Azir, which is a Chova pick. Well, if I have actually searched this guy up, and he does play a lot of these kind of mages, so it's going to be a Yone top lane, and then the Azir going into the mid lane.
Very
I
not
don't-
great into Poppy.
Again, it's hard into Poppy. I also don't know how you feel about Yone into Udyr top. Isn't that
I mean,
gonna be a
isn't
bit
Silent just
hard
gonna
early
proxy
on?
that until the end of time? If you really wanted to.
I feel like that matchup's quite difficult early for the Yone. Yone usually likes to get that blade and then, at least get Van
feels a
set.
bit
There's some
awkward to me, yeah.
attack speed boots and
Yeah,
then go
I'm
down.
looking at it here, and Udyr wins 56% of the time into Yone top and Emerald Plus on this patch.
Yeah,
it makes total sense.
To
Man's
me,
got the
it's
data.
it's like I feel like Udyr, especially when you're facing someone who's an OTP of Udyr, if you're not really confident on this Yone, he's going to know a lot more about this matchup than you, because again, how much do you sit there and play Yone top into Udyr? I think this is going to be quite difficult for the side of Gucci, just because the Poppy pick denies so much, denies the Azir shuffle, denies Rakan. Then you've got to have this top lane matchup is going to be very difficult. And we kind of saw last game, Jin obviously got solo killed by the Kai'Sa. That was because the Poppy bailed on the lane. But Jin is also, you're going to have to really fly into this guy. Like you're going to have to play very, very, very aggressive here for the side of Gucci. And you're going to be denied a lot of opportunity to do that again with the Poppy and the Udyr kind of standing their ground. So for me, I'm favoring Belfast Storm just because of these last two picks, actually. I think kind of nullify a lot what Gucci want to do. But we've been told by Savonix that this team is like, they're no one knows who they are. They've got a prodigy mid laner. They've got an ex-challenger top lane. They've got players I've never heard of, but I'm very happy to see them play because we'll need some new blood. I want to see if we've got an exciting
treat.
prospect in the mid lane.
Exactly.
On Azir, at least. Maybe it's his name is Chova, right? Or Chova. Maybe it's literally Chovy's like son in the mid lane. We
If
can
I
see
had to identify something that is illegal in this draft, like I did last draft,
Is this just going to be your thing? Are
it
you
might
just-
become my thing.
Are you
I
now
think
becoming the draft police, Bennis? Is that your role here?
the phase 1 rel ban, I think, is totally wasteful. I don't see why they'd want to target that. I think it could have been put somewhere else. I think it could have been put on the Udyr, because I think they would have maybe picked that in the first phase. Or on another ADC. I just don't see the point, because then you saw it when they went into phase 2, it was just the other engaged support champions. So if I had to say something was illegal, I would say it was that rel ban. There's my piece.
Yeah, I can generally agree with that. I also think that it's weird to then, if you leave that rel ban open and ban Udyr, you're then not trapped in this thing of banning supports and giving their top
exactly.
laner their favorite pick of
Their
all time.
favorite pick. It just doesn't make much sense.
You kind of called it, but in the Summer Sign Showdown, he first picked it a bunch of times, this Udyr top, completely blind. Literally
Yep.
B1 Udyr top every, like 2 games or something, 2-3 games. So like he doesn't care.
Synapse, man.
So the fact that they didn't ban it is really weird scouting to me. And as you were saying as well, the Rakan, like the Rakan is not good into Poppy. It's like really bad into Poppy. You can't.
Yeah,
Like
it's.
Rel can run at Poppy. Rel can at least run and use Q. You can't do anything as Rakan.
I think
It's
unless he's a rel OTP, I just think there's no point banning an engaged support in first phase, because you've got like 5 or 6 options who all work in quite similar ways. You'd rather put it on something else that's more blindable. I mean, Orianna could have gone. I mean, obviously, it's easy to say in retrospect because Orianna got picked, but it could have just been more impactful.
So, bit of a challenge for the two of you, though. I'm hearing
Okay.
Belfast Storm favor from both of you, but if you were Gucci in this situation, where are you targeting? Where are you looking to perhaps buoy up to get you through
I'm
that
targeting
negative
that
bridge?
FF at 15 vote. That's what I'm targeting.
No, I think you've got to make your mid laner. Like, I think your Azir, because Azir obviously Poppy denies Azir engage. But one thing Azir can do is at least stand his ground against a lot of the stuff they're throwing. Jin is longer range; it's annoying, but against stuff like the Orianna, against stuff like my brain's gone, the Udyr, the Poppy. Azir isn't just this, I have to go in and shuffle. He can at least just, use the wall defensively, deny Udyr the space. And if you get this Azir ahead, maybe there's a chance you can play these kind of team fights around objectives where the Azir is putting way too much damage down. And then you're forcing them to have to run into you as opposed to you running into the Poppy. And that's a little bit easier for you. I think this top lane is going to be hard. I think even if you send reinforcements to deal with the Udyr, it's going to be difficult. Bot lane is a similar thing. How do you make a play happen against the Poppy? So the only real avenue of attack in my head is, unless a mistake is made by Synapse early, we've seen it before,
it has happened.
is this Azir, who coincidentally is going to be your major damage output, because if you're Kai'Sa and you go the AD build this game, who are you going to walk up and hit Udyr? Are you you're going to walk in auto range of these champions? It's horrible. So
you got to think about the mentality of the players, though. At the end of the day, when you see Poppy, you think, okay, she's going to cancel all the dashes, but she's only got Steadfast Presence, which lasts for 2 seconds. It's on a massive cooldown. I mean, if the communication is there, if it could be called out, if it could be baited by the Rakan, then a Volibear gank could come in and it's on cooldown. Then it's just another champion, right? It may be one of those situations where the theory is more impactful than actually what happens in the game. I mean, we saw that last game with the Renekton Camille.
Well, I would love to keep talking about this, but we are just about ready to get on in to our second game of the day. We're not jumping over one here, which does mean that I need to throw it back to Robin Atrorian to get us back onto the Rift for this game. Take it away, boys.
Here we are. And I'm more than happy to tell you guys there's not any more and a comment Jhin about that. He's a fleet footwork you talk about before during the analyst task. He's a little bit nerfed, but you talk a lot about everything. I want to understand Jhin blind pick. Please teach me why.
I imagine Jhin was already pretty high priority on the previous patch. At least you saw people picking up soon. MF got nerfed. You saw Ziggs get nerfed, and I'm wondering if you've then, people have gone, well, the MF nerf was base AD, that's quite significant for her. These kind of things, and people have just gone, well, what's the next ADC that wasn't kind of nerfed that was still pretty good? And for me, it was Kai'Sa's there, Ashe was kind of there, Varus got nerfed as well, so not really him, but Jhin maybe was just sort of down that tier list. Down on that list of ADCs where the others got nerfed and now he's at the top. B wanting it is interesting to me, and seeing it twice is very interesting. I think the champion's good. I don't know if it's priority B1. I think it also hasn't been punished as hard as it could be either. I think if you play like a J4, for example, it makes Jin's life a lot harder. But yeah, I mean, overall, we'll have to see if they can actually make it work.
Another thing which I want to talk about a little bit more is regarding Udyr, because it's something what started, if I remember correctly, to coming in pro scene the start of this year. Afterwards, just disappear, and now he's back. What make him back into League of Legends pro scene? And you talk a lot about Udyr versus Yone is a good matchup, but what make him back?
I mean, this over the course of this, you'll see that there are some very interesting players with some very interesting pocket picks, and one of them is the Udyr for Synapse. He adores this champion and he plays it whenever it's available, nearly whenever it's available. So I don't imagine it is still okay. The Liandry's, for example, still very strong. We did see at the beginning of the year, as you said, the Udyr. You often didn't build Liandry's, and that item makes Udyr a disgusting damage-dealing, unkillable demon. So we will see Synapse know how to build the Udyr and also know how to play it. It's just something where it's a Synapse special, really. I'm very surprised it wasn't banned, because nearly everyone who faces Belfast Storm makes the mistake of not banning Udyr once. Or not Belfast Storm, facing Synapse. They make the mistake of not banning Udyr once and then they permaban it because it's just so annoying. It's unkillable. It runs at you at, ridiculous speed, and it just stuns everyone and then does a bunch of damage with the Froststormer, the ulted ultimate. Whatever it's called. I can't remember the name of it now.
Wait, I have something. As you know, English is not my mother tongue, so I have all listed. Wait. Maybe you can talk a little bit later on. Synapse starting to make understand Bibi why they should ban it, this Udyr.
It's a lot of damage.
It's a little bit less safe this way. But right now we see the top and the bot pushing really so hard as well. The mid, Glimpsy, seems like have the upper head of these minion wave. It seems like really a lot. Synapse again.
Limsy.
See how much damage, but sorry. I'm sorry, Limsy. You will get stunned. Oh, he's coming back as well. Dunlozi. Pay attention to Chovy. Which seems like Chova. I'm sorry. Which seems like trying to get on the major on Dunlozi. Nothing. Okay, I will go forward. If someone doesn't, don't do nothing, please, Teams. Just bomb a little bit, please, guys.
Look at the Poppy. They're trying to deny this Volibear so hard. There's a Jin here as well.
Oh,
3 minutes.
Okay. Now he's getting, and now he's coming to think which you talk as well on the analyst desk. It's a 50-50. But if the support have the opportunity to come and help his jungler, I don't feel like he's anymore a 50-50.
Yeah, and Dunlossi's got to be careful. He gets caught. He does get caught a few times. We saw in Summer Shadow he struggled, and right here he's being
Oh,
jumped
the
on.
flash is coming. The no cup is not. Dunlozi will die. First blood on Chover, and he got this one blue buff.
Yeah, he got the blue buff. This is a massive disaster for Belfast Storm. Look at the bot wave. Obviously, the Jin had obviously walked all the way up with his support to try and deny any kind of farming for the Volibear. The Kai'Sa just pushed in that bot wave. The Volibear survives. The Jin has to go and answer, and then but the Xin Zhao stays in the enemy jungle, and he just gets jumped on. And right there, even though they denied the Poppy knockup, the Rakan knockup, it doesn't matter because the amount of CC is enough, the damage is enough. And that first by going over to the one member, I said, you need this as Azir ahead. You want to get this. This is an attack point. But look at the damage in top lane from this Udyr.
Oh my goodness, BB, really escape please from this madness. Because it feels like that you cannot really do a lot against Synapse. Synapse, see how much damage is coming. The flash as well from BB. Anyway, just for the record, Wingborn Storm, the R from Udyr. Ask it, I deliver it.
This is an ability every cast will have to remember for the whole of this entire tournament, because if Udyr is available, Silence will be playing it, and that is the main ability. So thank you for reminding me. I always forget with Udyr's ability because there's a very, very odd champion. But back to the game. The state right now is looking better for Gucci than it might have been if they managed to pick up something on that jungle invade. They have got a draft that, although I favour Belfast Storm, they have inroads. The Kai'Sa is one of those where she needs to get that AP itemization online. Obviously, you usually get the attack speed and then you grab the Nashes on third. But if you can get that, along with the Azir, you have much longer range than anything really. The Jin is not longer range than the Kai'Sa. The Kai'Sa W is like 3,000 units. It's ridiculous. So maybe if they get to that point with the Azir being fed, and he's beginning to be, they have a good chance. But right now, if you are the side of Belfast Storm, you don't really mind about that first death because your Xin Zhao's just farming. You see the Volibear going for this crab. That's fine as we see it engage here.
Maybe we see the engage as well. Zero if he reload now. He needs to use the Buyer. The last attack doesn't get the kill. Freeze maybe with his grenade could get the kill, but it wasn't cooled down unfortunately. But it's really a lot. You still have a flash Ziffy to get out alive. But Varin is reloading at himself as well. We saw maybe a recall from Freeze. Doesn't get the recall. And I mean, I don't want to talk really about that. Please, I don't want to really. It seems like really Bolly, the enemy top laner, has nothing. And Dunlozi is there happy. Is like, I have a free top. Why I should not get that?
Yeah, and this is at least they're responding with the dragon on the other side. Gucci. This is what surprised me about taking this Yone into this Udyr. I was so sure this would be an Yone mid lane. Especially when you see something like the Orianna come through, she can poke you early, but hit a bit later, and the sort of damage from Yone's too much. His one-item spike is disgusting with that Blade of the Ruin King. When you go put it in top lane and bring the Azir in, you suddenly kind of lose out on that win con in mids and make a top lane matchup very hard. I wonder if what else he had prepped for this, because you when you're facing Belfast, you need to have something prepared for the Udyr if you're going to let it through. And oh, Scouse is here. He's not level 6 though. I don't. Is this dive going to come through? They've got to be careful. There's still a Poppy.
Really known elf. I was starting to be afraid, but Varin was really good with his steadfast presence, which helped to stay alive as well for another day. And yeah, I mean, I wasn't really aware about Udyr. I know that sometimes we have this pocket pick. I mean,
Yeah.
in the LIT, which is the Italian top league, we have as well. Oh, wait. For a moment, BB.
Look at the damage.
It's crazy, and he can get back as well a little bit of health as well
It's
with the
half HP.
turtle form. But anyway, we have Kikis in the
Yeah.
LIT. If you don't remember Kikis, if you don't know Kikis, it seems like that you are more younger than
No,
what
I remember
thought.
him.
You remember the famous cast from Quickshot, Flash Bear Slap, which was, I think, one of the most iconic of this era with Unicorns of Love. And yeah, that's it. We don't see that much other, and I see him now. He's making me really feel disgusting. And my pepperoni pizza, really.
Yeah, and what you'll also see is that Synapse knows how to build him. A lot of Udyrs in that period when Udyr was blinded, every game was broken in top lane. They were building not Liandry's. They were building every tank item, but never Liandry's. And the one thing the Udyr needs, and Udyr in jungle really needs, if you're going to go the same kind of build, the Liandry's makes you just absolutely disgusting. The damage you do is uncounterable in the 1v1. In team fights, you just launch that Windborne Storm, blow over everyone in the team fight. It just destroys everyone. So he is building towards that, as you see with the Fated Ashes. He's going to make him disgusting in the 1v1 at one item. Against the Blade, the Ruin King, we'll have to see if that can help the Yone, because right now, just look what's happening with Yone. He's trying to do the best he can, and it doesn't matter. Look at the shield. Just look at the trade.
Shield is amazing.
Trade
It's so great. And now, Bibi needs to stay. Oh my goodness,
God.
Bibi, really. Don't do that. But let's talk about good things about Gucci. Really, I feel now. I say good. I mean, wait. Synapse, no, nothing. Okay, he's trying to make the mage. It's coming as well to Lozzy. Pay attention to Bibi. You need to be afraid. Maybe he will ult as well. It's coming as well. The ult from. Sorry, the ult for Bibi to get out alive. And the top lane was really starting to be aware about how much damage can be made by the 4 players as well.
I mean, that was good. I will say, like, thank goodness that Good Cheese top laner did not end up falling, because I think right here you can't let Udyr get out of control. We know how strong Xin Zhao can be as well. If Xin Zhao gets fed, if you ever played any ranked game with Xin Zhao and he gets fed, that champion's disgusting. He kind of stat checks you. Your healing is too much, the damage is too much, so not dropping here is good. You are falling a little bit behind this top lane. Honestly, not as far behind as I thought would go behind for this Yone. He's only about a wave down, 7 CS, so that's looking pretty good. However, on the other side, you see in mid, even, bot pretty much even, jungle even, so if you are Gucci, I think you've got to try and look for something at some point with this Volibear, because you do end up struggling into the sort of team composition coming out a bit later. Oh my god, the flash in mid. We just saw that.
Yeah. I saw the
close.
really nice one. Ult from Azir. Is trying as well again. Okay, Bibi. Bibi, I'm sorry to tell you, you need to get back. Luckily, Synapse doesn't want to get back to the fight. Or maybe I was really a liar. Synapse really is trying to fight the bar health from Bibi. We saw as well a good fight during on the top side of the jungle of the river. But yeah, you want to try to do something with this Volibear. The only thing which make me afraid is more like that we talk about how laning phase was really looking forward for the team of Belfast, but it seems like it's not that much. But now he's coming. Rakanda gets stopped. Pay attention. Now he's coming as well. Azir Water got the kill. Limsey was a little late to the party. And now Synapse back again to BB. Oh, the shockwave onto. Now he's getting on the wall. It's really low enough. BB is really low enough himself as well. They need to be afraid, because it seems like the Belfast can really get on the trigger.
Belfast were first on that objective, but ends up that their Xin Zhao falls, which this is all. It's interesting to see these players all coming back from the Sunshine Showdown, which was only about a couple weeks ago. We saw there Dunlossie had a few moments where he gets caught out, and he's caught out again in a moment where you think they should be getting these grubs, right? They had more members. They had the Poppy being able to deny something like the Rakan knockup. Didn't end up happening, actually, because the Rakan held his knockup, ended up running in with the charm, ended up being able to get on top of Dunlossie and locking him down and denying that Xin Zhao, who's now back on the grubs. However, I don't think they really care I don't think they look at this top lane is ridiculous. I don't think they really care the side of Gucci because they're going for this second dragon. And Mountain Dragon is massive value this game. That little bit of extra resistance is going to help a lot in this for the Kai'Sa and the Azir, because the Azir isn't going like the tank build, right? He's not going towards that grasp. He's gone for the fleet footwork, going towards a Nashor's, not going like Liandry's into Abyssal Mask, for example, you might see from a tank Azir. So he's going to be a little squishier. So any amount of extra effective HP is going to be good for him. So the Mountain Dragon goes down. The Rift is, I didn't see what Rift that was there for a second.
It's Infernal.
Infernal Rift. That's pretty scary, actually, for Belfast Storm, because they're only 2 dragons down. And they're stacking them very quickly, Gucci here. Look, it's 30 minutes, 2 dragons. So you had 10 more minutes on 23 minutes, could be a soul fight. Are they going to be stronger? Are they going to give over that next dragon? We'll have to see if Belfast are willing to respond to the next dragon spawn, because I said that they had a better draft. But if the Azir manages to get, like, Nash's online and gets to, 3 items or something like this, he's going to be scary no matter who he's against. He's going to shred through a lot of people. Look at the damage in top again. This is just this is bullying. This is bullying from the unit.
And the worst part is, like, you get as well the health back thanks to the turtle form, and this is make you feel like you need to run about something on the top lane. But we saw Bibi again is not that back. He's not really behind that much. What make me scared most is I saw how good Synapse starting to work with this Udyr. So I feel like that you need to get something to stop him, because he got as well already 2 top plaques, which help him a lot. And soon I want to see as well the goal differential about there. It seems like we should be around 400, 500 goals roughly. And right now, he's starting to get back to the turret. Maybe he can try to stop as well Synapse. Again, another of his blade. He get the knock up. He's coming back.
Unless you've got that Udyr incredibly low, there's almost no chance with this item difference with the Liandry's online to ever actually kill him. So even though you're healing with Fleet Footwork and with your Vamp Scepter as the Yone, it's not going to happen. So I'd be very surprised if it does. He is healing quite a bit back, but there's, again, it's just going to be sort of hoping to get whatever CS you can on this journey and maybe looking to have a large team fight impact. But hopefully he goes back soon and gets the blade, because look at the damage again. Like, look at the immediate sort of response. And
Yonlozi was looking to get into the fight, but in the end, the Flash was save himself. Varin used already his W, try to keep Mr. Freeze safe. Synapse now against again Bibi. It seems like this is the main important things about this game, this top lane. You talk all about Synapse, but now he's coming as well, Volibear. They can try maybe to get something. He's unstoppable now. The flash from Sorry. Now on Synapse, he tried to fly away. Dulazi is coming with Limsy. They can try to get as well a Shockwave. The Shockwave is coming as well, maybe. Is Bibi still alive? Bibi is there. Limsy gone. The Shockwave is coming. The second kill on Synapse. This was a good 3v2.
this is exactly what they need to see. There is a little bit of a response here.
Oh
No!
Oh,
The
Synapse
Unstoppable.
was unstoppable. And he get out alive. The Emperor's divide, but not divide Udyr from his teammates.
Yeah, there was a little bit of a response with the Azir and Rakan coming over, but too little, too late. The Unstoppable denying any kind of return kill. They're picking up, they've got 6 grubs. They're picking up this Herald. So they need to start accelerating the game a little bit with the fact they've got such a lead, right? They've managed to pick up so many objectives. However, at least we're seeing Gucci fight it, because I think a lot of people coming into this sort of split, they had Belfast Storm. I've seen a couple tier lists, not necessarily at the top, but maybe 5th in the league, and a lot of Gucci. There were a lot of Gucci haters. There are a lot of Gucci haters who were saying they're probably going to get 7th, maybe 7th at the highest, but very likely 9th or 10th. And right now they are matching. They are matching this. This team, which is many people had rated at least maybe in the sort of top 5, maybe 5th, maybe 6th. So it's good to see. However, I think you're seeing maybe a little bit of experience difference and maybe a little bit of scouting difference, because you're saying this Udyr gets the kill there top. How are they? They're struggling into this signature pick coming out of Synapse. And look at the damage he's doing again. Even the blade isn't finished yet. The Blade is nowhere close to finish. He's going to have to go back again. He has TP, but it's going to be hard. As we're very likely to see a big team fight around this dragon in 15 seconds' time. Because realistically, Good Chi need this third dragon to force the side of Belfast Storm to run into them.
What makes me more afraid right now is another things, and I want to talk about the good part of Good Chi. You say as well, they have already the Herald and everything, but the goal difference until the team fight was not that high. It was like a 1k, so was trying to save themselves a little bit. But it seems like with that team fight, as you said, the guys from Belfast will get in much more snowball. Let's see what will happen now, because the fight maybe getting through water is really starting to get damage. It's stopped as well, grounded as well. The shot will go to the back lane, and if he's that maybe, yes it is. And now it's the 2 kills. Water need to escape. It's coming, the unstoppable Synapse. The kill from Synapse is a bloodbath for Belfast. For Good Chi. The Chi is not good for them.
No, that's a bit of a disaster. The Volibear got locked up so long he couldn't get his ultimate off. Wall stunned, knocked up, impossible to play. The Shockwave and the ball was on the ground from the Orianna. They saw it, they walked back into it. They ended up picking up both the Rakan and the Kai'Sa on that ultimate. Kai'Sa falls, Rakan eventually falls at the end of the fight. Absolute disaster, because they need to be able to make Belfast Storm run into them. They don't want to be making plays with the Rakan, with the Azir that much, just because of the nature of the Poppy, who has denied already so many engages. Poppy has denied so much. If you watch how many times this Steadfast presence has been effective, it's ridiculous. And on the other side, they burnt TP as well. This was already really a losing fight. It's a very, unless you're going to be proactive with that TP out of BB, you're going to really struggle to make a fight happen once your Volibear is stunned for 3 seconds and it's made impossible for him to play the game. And now you've burnt that TP. Yes, you got the TP out of Synapse, but you actually don't give that Yone the chance to go, okay, I'm going to get a bit more CS here. I'm going to try and get myself back into this game. He TP'd into the fight and had to run away. And that's just a waste of a TP and a waste of his time.
You know, well, if it seems like that the guys from Good Chi need to talk a little more about, okay, maybe ult away just to stay alive, to wait for the Poppy to use his steadfast presence, and now maybe I'm sorry. Yeah, is that? I mean, I hope so. No. Okay, I'm sorry. I cast across water now, and now in the middle of the turret. Sorry, Synapse is really low on health. Maybe he will die, maybe it's not. And now Dunlazi will die himself to keep alive. Maybe Synapse. Now he's a shutdown, and now the Emperor's Divide. Limsy is outside from his teammate. He's getting gold, but it will not be enough. It's a kill and a shutdown for Chova.
Well, I had big concerns about Good Chi as they're just chasing Mr. Freeze down. Run away. They're actually, okay, they're going to Baron. Never mind. They're going to let the Jhin live. They're benevolent. They will let the Jhin live. And yeah, what a team fight coming out from the side of Good Chi. Right there, it was, okay, BB's core, 4 members top side. However, Mr. Freeze was ulting in the enemy jungle. They jump him, he has to end up running away. And they collapse. They managed to get kill after kill after kill, and onto important members. Chova picked up, I believe, a kill and an assist there. The Kai'Sa picked up a kill as well. And these are the members that need those kills. The Volibear didn't get them. This isn't going to be a Volibear that's going to be carrying, as so rarely happens often in these kind of games. But it will be the Azir and the Kai'Sa who gets that goal. Really important for Good Chi. Really, really important for their state of the game. They're going to now be able to look to maybe fight this next dragon in 2 minutes' time because of that goal injection. Look at Azir's items. He's sat there with the Leandris now, 2 items at 21 minutes. Not too bad. Not that accelerated, but still good. Kai'Sa with 2 items as well. The Yone maybe not in it, only with the blade. But the 2 main carries, the main threats in this game for Good Chi had got their items online. And that is so important because Chova right there, he's showing he's confident on this Azir. He's gone for a few shuffles already, maybe a flash Emperor's Divide. Right there, he looked to maybe catch Limsy out. He's going to have to be the catalyst for them to win this game. It is the Azir show if Good Chi win.
And talking about how was the early game from the guys of Belfast, it's just 2k differences, and now with the Baron, they can try to play towards get less goal disadvantage, and this is really important for the guys of Good Chi, because Azir, it will be scaling so hard. Zifi with his Kai'Sa, Edom is the same thing. It seems like that they are
Shockwave.
really trying to do the shockwave. They stop him. He's rooted, but doesn't go forward. It's coming up as well.
Look
the
at
turret
the
from Azir.
Udyr.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't saw. You know
That's
that? I
That's
was
so...
like, where is?
Where's the team? No, Udyr. Synapse does this a lot as well. He's a bit of a split pushing demon. He likes side lanings, does Synapse. But the Shockwave didn't catch anyone. I thought the Udyr might get that turret. They had to end up burning the TP out of the Yone, which isn't great because you really need this TP up for any kind of team fight. If the Udyr pushes out, he's going to have TP advantage over you. Bit of a disaster. But with this Baron, they did pick up a nice little bit of gold, so yeah, it's all right for them. It's looking okay for Good Chi. A team that I had down in my rankings as well, but then bringing it to Belfast Storm and a number of pretty established players.
And right now, the gold advantage from the guys of Belfast is just 2k. Very need to be afraid. He use his W to walk much more faster. The guys from Good Chi, they can try to go on Soul Point. But now it's coming all the guys from the Belfast. Synapse really starting to get a chunk of damage from his enemy team. Synapse, pay attention, maybe he's coming as well. The Shockwave is another ult really important. Emperor's Divide ready. They are trying to dashing all the teams. Everything's up. Attention to Synapse again, trying to walk around. Still nothing. The Drake is alive. You see Mr. Freeze trying to push the middle lane, trying to move as well the enemy team. The Drake has started, it's coming as well, the ult from Freeze. They will try, and now it's coming as well, the big bird. Everything inside, the Shockwave was so many. The shutdown is coming from deep, and afterward, he died. And now Synapse can run freely. Synapse on the enemy team. Baby is alone. Synapse against the world. Synapse are getting a lot of damage on the enemy team. See how Belfast get all 5 down of the enemy.
That looked like an absolute... Initially, looked like an amazing play coming out of Water on Rakan. He manages to get the flash, the charm knockup onto the Jhin, and immediately Kai'Sa follows, immediately Volibear follows. And that's, as I want to say, this is their first game in the UKL, but that is the kind of decisiveness you want to see out of a new team, willing to pull the trigger, willing to go in. However, there was an Orianna orb on the Jhin. There was an Orianna orb on the ground near his feet. And the Shockwave comes through, hits all 3 of them, and ruins that fight for Good Chi. What a heads-up play from Limsey to get that Shockwave down, because a lot of the time you're focusing on the front line, right? Especially even if you're against a dive team like the Kai'Sa, like the Volibear, like the Rakan. You're focusing on that Yone, you're focusing on that Azir, you're focusing, okay, can I Shockwave these targets? In the end, Limsey manages to pick up 3, maybe not the most priority, but does pick up the Kai'Sa. And even though Chova got the damage down, they just flood forward. And see how little damage right now that Azir is doing to that Udyr. In that fight, he dashes back over the wall to join in with his Rakan, but the damage isn't there. And it just isn't enough to get through the tankiness coming out from this Udyr, who has now got the Abyssal Mask, working on his 4th item in what you'd assume to be either a Randuin's or most likely a Frozen Heart. This has been a just absolute monstrous performance, really, from Synapse from start to finish, because he's having so much impact. But the quiet soldier, the one who's really leading the line, is Limsey, 5-1-5 on this Orianna.
Yeah.
Gen stack Darkseal, as the observers just show there. This Orianna has come up massive in this game on a number of Shockwaves, but that Shockwave, more than most, might have just secured the win for Belfast in denying that sort of crazy engage coming out of the Rakan.
Another thing, which I didn't maybe heard from you on the Nani's desk, how the build of AD carry changing. First of all, we didn't see any AD carry mid. This is a good start. Second of all, no collector from the 2 teams. Collector is another item which was changed, if I remember correctly, in this patch. And it seems like it was really crashed down to like the lowest part of the AD carry. As you can see, Jhin doesn't have a collector. He goes straight with Infinity Edge.
Yeah, I mean, the only champion I know that does build that item right now consistently is Jinx, if she goes like the Collector Opportunity build. I still think you do that on this patch against Squishies, but I mean, I also think, I want to mention itemization. You brought up AD carry itemization. That's a Terminus being built by that Kai'Sa, which really surprises me. Because I think this game, do you want to... Yes, you're flying in with the Rakan and the Volibear, but do you not want to go the Nashers, maybe? And look to get a bit of poke damage down early on in these team fights onto maybe targets at the back? They can't really interact with you. So he's gone for the Terminus. And we'll have to see how Ziffy plays on this Kai'Sa, because you're playing a short-range ADC into Udyr, who ruined you, into Orianna, who is going to be able to look for a shockwave on you, and into stuff like a Jhin and a Xin Zhao. You'd rather be trying to play away from them, maybe poke them down and look for a good engage a bit later. So eyes on Ziffy in these team fights with this Terminus build means he's got to go for a lot more auto attacks, going to have to be a lot more aggressive. And eyes on Chova, obviously, for these shuffles, as they're turning straight towards the Baron. And they're going to see if they can pull a fast one on BFS.
2,000, 1,000, they
got
get it! And he flying out Bibi. Now the fight is coming forward. And they will get a one. Synapse is getting on the backline of the teammates. Sorry is dead. Synapse as well. But now he's coming Baron with a flash. Ziffy and Water is coming the ult from as well Jhin. One kill is coming from Water as well. The shockwave now is coming, and they're trying to save Bibi the day. Baron will die. No, he will not. Ziffy is down. Is a double kill for Limsey, and now the poor Bibi is a nice. The Baron, where it is.
Yeah, they pick up the Baron, but they end up being a little bit split on leaving the pit. They can't get out because Belfast Storm ends up kind of cutting off that Tribush from them, so they have to go all the way through the lane. The Jhin ult comes down, denying them. This could be the end of the game here if Belfast Storm want to try. It's pretty close in Death Timers because you're going to have Volibear and you're going to have the Rakan back up in time, so I imagine it's just an inhib take and they're going to back off. It is. However, at least it shows some life from Good Chi again. They're willing to turn onto that Baron. They do get it. I'm surprised they didn't stand their ground a little bit more, because when they're running away, they're running, obviously there's the Jhin ultimate there, it's a little bit scary, but if you're running away, you're running into the Udyr, who's just going to run through you, not the Udyr, sorry, into the Xin Zhao. You're then allowing the Orianna to join the fight. If you actually push through down back into the Ori as the Xin Zhao's trying to flank you, you might have a little bit of an easier time. I'd have to rewatch the fight to see if they have the opportunity to do that. Because I think if you're then going to let yourself stand there in a Jhin ultimate without being able to put any damage down yourself, it's a huge problem. They did pick up a couple kills, but again, it's just Belfast Storm with a composition where they just have a little bit easier ability to play the game. The Poppy, again, denied Water from getting a knock-up a couple times. Makes it very hard to play this Rakan. And then on the Udyr, who, despite falling, delayed for so long, which meant they could only exit through the lane. I have to see if, with this dragon coming up, this is going to be 3 Infernal Dragons. That is a huge injection of damage. That's so much extra damage for the side of Belfast Storm. And you don't really have any members on the side of Good Chi who are that tanky. The Volibear didn't go for full tank. He went for a Sundered Sky. The Rakan is not a tank. And the Yone, I mean, he gets melted by Synapse alone. Imagine what happens in a team fight.
I'm sorry, guys. I'm watching really Synapse pulling the poor Bibi. And I'm like, why, guys? Why this happening? I think so. Everyone will remember now to ban Udyr against Belfast Storm, and he's already 3k more. He will get the turret, the ult to get out. Rashmund is just using to get out of the fight. It's coming as well. No, they will not. I'm wondering, really, I am not thinking that you should go, but he will try. Avert it! Help as well his teammate. Now pay attention to Sorry, get started as well. Bibi's back. There, Imperial survived on 2 people. No Water trying to help. Bibi got the first kill. Maybe they will get something more. The second kill against the enemy jungler. Mr. Freeze try to dance. Sorry is there. The kill and the shutdown for the guys of Good Chi.
They get the flank. It looks like they might have ended up sort of killing themselves, really flying into death. Doesn't happen. Rakan jumps in, gets the charm, then gets ulted out by the Poppy, which means he doesn't end up getting locked down, doesn't end up having the situation where he jumps in and is immediately killed. And then they have the damage to burn through the members of Belfast Storm. But the big thing, Limsey wasn't there. Limsey was somewhere in mid lane. Limsey didn't TP, he was somewhere standing around mid. He wasn't there for when they got collapsed upon. And this shockwave is really important in denying this dive. If you keep that orb on the Jhin, maybe a little bit in front of him, as they jump forward, shockwave comes down, immediately denies engage, you can't play the game. that didn't happen. There was no Orianna, and so they picked them off one by one. Synapse did manage to live, but mostly down to the fact that I believe Ziffy ended up clicking something like a ward or something in that little alleyway down by the tier 2 of a red side. That shows there's a chance here for Gucci to take these fights back. Interesting to see Kai'Sa is now going towards what I assume to be, there could be a Bloodthirster. Yeah, okay, I was going to say Infinity Edge Bloodthirster, most likely Bloodthirster. So there's a little bit more sustain on this Kai'Sa, not going at all touching any AP evolution, not even considering going for that sort of more pokey style. They're all in this Kai'Sa. And now they do have a lot of damage online Gucci, as the death cap is not that far from being completed by the Azir. So 4 items coming on board for their carries. These team fights are getting a lot closer. We'll have to see if they can actually make stuff happen here, Belfast Storm, because they've got to be a little bit worried about the sort of scaling of the Azir and the Kai'Sa.
They're starting to be afraid, but they are pretty good to take off the enemy team from the turret. This is a T2 conquered by the guys of Belfast, which means now the gold advantage, as you can see on the top, is a 4k gold. He's already 2 inhibitor down, which is pretty good. Oh, water. Water, please. Don't die now, because it will be really a bad things. He tried to get himself back, and now with the verdict, they try to get out. It will be another turret. This is great. They don't want to fight. They know they are trying a little bit afraid about what will happen. So we try to make them afraid about we can start something.
Dragon is up in 2 minutes as well, so having the 2 inhibitors down and then maybe trying to get this third before the Dragon spawns will mean it's going to be very hard for Gucci to contest without losing their base. The only negative here, as the Baron is spawning 15 and we're already seeing at least the members of Gucci trying to fight back against this, but the only thing worth mentioning is that the 2 side lanes pushing in does mean that Gucci get more gold. And that is the kind of thing they need. This Azir still doesn't have death cap. Once he gets that online, he's going to be absolutely shredding everyone that isn't Synapse. So they're already starting it. They do shred this Baron. They absolutely melt it with the Volibear, the Azir, and the Kai'Sa.
It's coming as well, Synapse. A little bit of damage, 4,000 Nulas. They try to get in the middle. Who will get the Baron? And he's doing with missions out with another kill. 2 kills from the guys of Belfast. Now the Emperor's Divide. It will do nothing. It just makes Chover see the enemy team from the opposite side. Their TP is coming. They will try to get him from the back.
Oh my God.
TP. They want really to kill him. They want to destroy the hope of Gucci.
Well, at least Azir finishes the death cap before the game ends, I guess. Yeah, absolute disaster. The Baron ends up being smoked just a little bit too early by Scouts, but let's be completely honest. The Baron steal, despite looking great, is not the issue here.
No.
The issue is that they just got absolutely destroyed in a 5v5 team fight, and they weren't able to play any kind of front to back. There wasn't really any damage coming down from anyone else, and this is just a simple end here. Water can try his best, but it's not going to matter. And this is Belfast Storm coming in. There are a few moments where Gucci looked to fight back, but yeah, Belfast Storm, they look incredibly strong in this game 1. And Limsey, who was playing a little bit in the Sunshine Showdown, now comes back in and he's looking great on this Orianna. And if this is the meta, if it's the Syndra, if it's the Orianna, if it's the Azir, this is a Limsey meta. He is incredibly good on all these champions.
What make me more afraid right now regarding this match? You guys told about the tier list, which I will tell you that I am the caster course much more powered in Italy. I make team disband like nothing, so be afraid about that. I didn't do any tier list, be aware. But what makes me afraid is Gucci. They show something, and many people put really low. I feel like some upsetty will coming out.
Yeah, I was going to say, I had them probably, I'll be honest, I had them probably about 9th or 10th. I didn't know the players too well. I did as much scouting as I could. Let's not talk about me coaching a team that's not playing today, but I have no horse in this race. And yeah, Gucci came out today despite losing, and the scoreline maybe doesn't indicate it. I think there's a couple players on that team. Chova looked pretty good on the Azir.
Yes,
I think
indeed.
Diffie looked decent on the Kai'Sa, but I'd really shout out Chova for this game. Water as well in a game that's very hard to play. Rakan did have a few good engages. I think they were just a bit too far behind in terms of team comp. I think Rakan going in, immediately jump in, they get shockwave and die is not a great look, but getting those engages is really impressive. I do think they'll make a few upsets. I think their group, I believe, I'm trying to think now who's in their group. It is the same people. I think it's Verdant and
I think
It-
we play all the group now.
Yeah, I'm trying to remember who's in which of the 2 groups of 5. Who's in which group? Believe they're in the same group as Paragon and then Verdant and Broad and Friends. And I think we saw today like this Good Chi could play into the Broad and Friends roster we saw today. I think they would match up very very closely. So they should do very well. At least better than maybe preseason predictions. Maybe this group is stronger than some thought. We'll have to see.
Let's see what will happen soon. We have all the 2 best of 1. I want to shout out on Benis for being in the analyst desk. And then now we will see later on with all the 2 best of 1. So stay here to see more League of Legends.
I'm in the middle of a meta game.
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. Apologies for the slightly longer delay. I have a lot of things to do today. I am joined by a brand new desk for the remaining 2 games. We've got Doctor, we've got Savonix. I do want to start with you first, Savonix, obviously. Formerly a good Chi player. Good Chi everything, man. How did you feel about how your boys performed in game 2?
Well, it was a really promising game, to be honest. I think one thing that I know is that this team was formed literally 2 days before the roster lock. We were at least informed that we were going to be in the Division 1 of the UKL 2 days before roster lock. So forming the team in a short amount of time, and I think anyone could see that they are definitely talented players, and once they get more practice, maybe some better games. So very, very positive, very, very promising.
So it turns out that I've been so absorbed in, getting stuff sorted out that we're already into draft and we've already got a Ziggs out from Vertex.
Who's who? I was hoping the names would be here, but I've now got to go find me a roster
You
sheet.
don't know the names? It's Team Vertex against Nuclear Vikings.
That
Well,
part I've got. That part's
I
on the
do
street.
know. So as part of the Summer Cup, I do know Nuclear Vikings have made a change to the support player. It is not Sandwich. Pim,
Don't
for
tell me.
anyone who knows him, he's got experience in Prime League. I know him very, very well. A very, very talented support player. With the rest of the squad, kind of the same thing. Vertex keeping the same team as well. Promoted from Division 2, so they're stepping into uncharted territories here, a higher level of gameplay. It might be a difficult story for them. I know a lot of people have rated them a bit low on their tier list, but I believe in Team Vertex. So they go with the Ziggs, Alistair quite early on. I think patch-wise, a lot of people are saying Majors in bot lane is starting to come back, so maybe Ziggs is a flex pick here.
It's a bit of a menace. The Ziggs, you get that one down there, you get yourself a couple of plates, you get yourself a cheeky 10k gold in the first
couple
10
of
minutes,
plates?
and you're having a good
A
time.
whole
Couple
damn
of
tower?
plates. Yeah, take
If
the
you
whole
are-
thing.
No,
if
I
I
get
say-
3 plates, you go spoons, 3 for 18 or whatever it is now, those criminals back in my day, it was like 9 quid.
What? That's
Oh.
Quinn.
That is a
that-
Quinn. For anyone who doesn't know, Vertex's mid laner actually a bit of a Quinn one trick, if I'm not mistaken. I think when I casted the Div 2 games last split, Quinn and Heimerdinger were his picks. Obviously not normal for comp, but maybe that's how they got here. Who knows? A bit of cheese. Quinn locked in. Lucian answered on the other side.
Nothing wrong with a bit of cheese if it's going to up your chances of winning. It certainly plays further forwards than the Ziggs. Kind of makes up for the fact that he is not a traditional carry.
Boys, where do we keep the roster lists? I cracked one open, I was like, I found it, it's all good, and then I was like,
There's
Lions
one.
Breed, that company doesn't exist anymore.
There's one
oh
in
God.
in on air chat.
There's one pinned
posted it in there
from
for
last
you.
year.
No, there's
Oh,
just
Oh, who
I got the one
uses
for-
those rooms? Oh, those chat channels don't exist. It's not a thing. God, I don't know any of these players. Oh, I don't see
Well-
any of these guys in my life. Oh, fruity carrots. That's okay. I've got one. All right.
Fruit Carrots is good.
we do know
He-
Fruity already on the
Fruity
Ivan
carrot.
here, so
Yeah, I mean, he's got the Ivan. I think a lot of people would say Ivan probably one of the strongest junglers on the patch right now. Very protective, can do a lot. Really easy to pick early in the draft as well. Doesn't necessarily give too much away about what composition you're trying to set up. I'm curious about the Lucian. I know AD carry mid lane has been pushed out a little bit with the nerfs to fleet on range. Obviously, Lucian doesn't take fleet, he takes press the attack. So we'll see if that can still be into the mid, but it probably isn't with this
I mean,
simple hover.
the evolution has always been a pretty good and aggressive bot lane, though. So potentially an angle to try and punish either the weak level 1 of the Alistair or try and get some good sticking damage onto the Ziggs before his terrifying poke can really come into effect.
I'll say it like on the. You could be like, oh yeah, the plan is that we're gonna like go really aggressive if they put the Ziggs down there. We're gonna chunk him out before he can poke and what is. But what if they flicks the Ziggs up mid and now we're just stuck with a subpar Lucian AD? It doesn't matter, bro. They're gonna flip it level 2. It's the UKL. What are we doing? There's no analysis here. He's just gonna dash in and see what happens. I don't know what's gonna happen. You don't know what's gonna happen. He doesn't know what's gonna happen.
Spin
We'll
the
figure it out on the
wheel.
day. It's
I
That
mean,
rule's
they,
been nerfed. Who
the
cares?
day
It's
is
just gonna
today.
flip it. My God.
we have
get me
got
some
an
modern
Ornn
friends.
here, sitting on in the top lane for Vertex. Matchup.
Yeah.
Now that's a bit of extra spice in the numbers there. Heyo, picking
Yeah,
up the Graves.
Graves does get locked in. I know Vertex's top laner. He likes to
Did get
play weak
buffed.
side. Yeah, so he does want to take that on. That definitely makes sense. However, Nuclear Vikings
mid
top
for this
laner, I know he's a very talented guy. Plays a lot of different champions. Aatrox is open into the Ornn, so is the Gwen.
Oh.
And we see that hovered. And yeah, it's a really, really tough matchup for the Ornn.
Aatrox Ornn, how does he see this one coming? Oh, it's
Mystic Mac.
My gosh. Did you say it was the Quinn that was the mid that was the Quinn one trick?
Yeah.
Okay, so we're not going to get shenanigans Ornn mid or Graves mid or anything like that.
No, unlikely. I think Vertex, if I remember correctly, they are like a university kind of team formed out of university players. And
Oh, is that Bond me? Oh, I didn't see that part. Oh, I know that guy.
oh yes, he is playing AD carry, isn't he? Yeah.
Maybe-
So
no, he's playing top, isn't he? Or have they done a little switcheroo?
Yeah, Bomby's
No
the top
way.
laner here, according to
no
this.
way. Oh, of course. Sharpie's on holiday. I do know that. Don't ask how I know. Anyway, yeah. So Bombi on top lane. I guess you put. He is an AD carry support player, so I guess you put an off-roll top laner on an Ornn. He will have some troubles.
You know what? I'm
into-
liking the sound of putting an AD carry player on Quinn top into the Aatrox.
See what happens.
I
Just outplay
think
the hell out of it.
I think it is Ornn top, not. I think Quinn is going into mid, Ziggs into AD carry, and then Ornn top lane.
If they're good, they roll or they lane swap, right? Because Quinn is useless versus Syndra. You
I was
cannot
gonna say
hit.
she's got to have a rough
You,
time, right?
Like, you're never hitting a Q because minions exist, and if ever you press E, you get stunned and die. Quinn is good versus the melee. Meanwhile, Ornn, tanks versus mages, easy peasy. You just one-shot the wave and call it a day. So even if we've got the Quinn one-trick of Micah down here and the auto-filled madman that is Bonmi, auto-fill Ornn mid isn't that hard. You just one-hit the wave. You've got nothing else to do. And then you can have an actual good matchup for the Quinn and the Aatrox. So let's get a little bit.
Did I hear
of a-
something along the lines of Bing chill as an Ornn?
Well,
Or he might just make it happen.
traditionally, I don't know if people know this,
I
but
mean, he also
Ornn
does a
mid
fair
is
chunk of damage.
actually. Ornn mid is a really good counter into Syndra. It actually is. I remember one. There was one meta where like you literally B1'd Ornn because Syndra was the other strongest mid laner on the patch, and
I mean, I suppose you could just build Spectre's Cowl, not really worry about her too much.
yeah, you W the Scatter the Weak. You just build MR. Right now, there's like D Shield, Second Wind. Like you're just unkillable in lane. So
It's not Ornn, it's every tank. Like tanks mid are just good. I've been saying for months about the Nasus mid tech as well. I've been saying Nasus mid for years, but everyone's coming through here building like Aerie and Doran's Ring and Scorch. And it's like that works when you're versus a bully. Like if you're playing it either versus like a Darius or something in top, or if you're versus something like a Kennen and you really want to absolutely just roll them in top. But in mid, you're a tank. You just go fleet, fleet, Doran Shield, Rejuvenate. You just soak the whole wave. What can they do? And it's the same for any other tank. But unfortunately, we probably won't be seeing that. Instead, we're going to see two losing lanes for funsies. Unless Bombi goes crazy with it on the autofill Ornn. Which, if there's any champ you're going to go crazy with it whilst you're autofilled, I mean, you know.
yeah,
If I can get
I mean-
solo kills on it, anyone can.
Exactly. I do think the two drafts you could see like one side a bit chaotic. I would say. I think the Quinn mid definitely is a head scratcher, but I have to say Nuclear Vikings draft looked very very solid. It was a very clear cut game plan. I like the Ivan picked quite early on, and I think it fits the playstyle of what Nuclear Vikings showed in the Summer Cup as well. So if it's a continuation of that, then I'm quite excited to watch how they play this.
From the perspective then of Vertex, since we've got stock standard so cool, what's the sort of pie in the sky, balls to the wall sort of play, Doctor, that we need to see out of Vertex to really give them an upper hand in the first 15 or so minutes of the game?
Bro, you see it in the first 5 seconds of the game. Just send the Quinn top. Just do the old switcheroo. You're going to have an atrocious time if you don't. I mean, I'm thinking that you just ultimately look. I can sit here and be like, oh yeah, Syndra's got nothing going on versus Quinn's got nothing going on versus Syndra mid. He's probably gonna get 5 kills in the first 10 minutes. I don't know. None of us are good. None of us are gonna play it right, and none of us are gonna cast it right either.
Are you wow?
If he wants to flip it on Quinn mid, he can do that. He'll probably win. It's not. There's no science to this.
Yeah,
all right.
You're a ray of sunshine as always, aren't you, Doctor?
I've been around a while. I've seen some shenanigans. All right.
You have. I still. One of my favorite things is the Doctor rant is still one of my favorite fixtures of the UKL. So glad to have you in.
God, he doesn't exist.
But anyway, much as I would love to hear you rant on some more, we are getting close to getting on into our third game of the day. So we are going to get ready to hand it across to our casters. Drake and Shibby are standing by. Guys, take it away for game number 3.
Thank you so much for passing that over to us, Brackish. I can't really see myself just... yeah. All right, Shibby. So you excited to get into this one? Get into the first series of Group A?
I mean, it's definitely an intro to the first series. It's definitely, this is my first time seeing Team Vertex casting Team Vertex, and you know what? I'm already liking it. I'm already down to get weird. If a team like this is gonna go Quinn mid, Ziggs bottom, I'm all for it. Right? Get weird or get out. Get weird or get out.
I agree, and we'll have to see whether Vertex are going to be getting weird or getting out. And Nuclear Vikings, a team that we've seen time and time again and playing something relatively standard. So the makings of an interesting game nonetheless. Also get to see a fellow caster in Bonmi towards that top side. It'll be exciting to get into this one. I think we are now on to Summoner's Rift, and it looks like a pretty standard 5-point from both teams.
Yeah, I think realistically, this bottom lane is going to be super boring. It's Ziggs Alistar, right? Leona can't really put a ton of pressure on there because of the issue with Alistar just being able to pulverize and headbutt her back into the turret. There's not going to be too much happening here. I'm more interested in this mid matchup. I believe it was Doctor that was saying, how does Quinn play into Syndra? Because I don't think that's possible. I really don't think Quinn is going to be able to get even in range as long as Syndra is able to properly leash their abilities and range leash the Quinn. And realistically, she should be completely fine. And once level 6 comes in, yeah, Quinn's dead to rights. If unless she has like a Hex Drinker, she's pretty much dead to rights if she gets full comboed.
Yeah, so the makings of a difficult lane for sure. But the Ignite there, definitely options for Faulty to get a couple of kills here in the mid lane. And I mean, my focus is going to be towards these junglers, right? I feel like seeing this Graves come back into the meta will be interesting. I love playing Graves. I love seeing Graves. I hate playing against Graves, so I really don't like him in the meta, but when he is, it can get really, really interesting. So it'll be curious to see whether Fruity Carrot or Harry Carry are able to get their lanes ahead. And more or less see where this Ivern goes, right?
Yeah, I think the issue, right, with the Ivern Graves matchup is Graves can just kind of walk in and do what he wants, which is what he's going to do right now. But so this is the interesting thing. Ivern, obviously, for everybody that's been watching, anybody that's been playing League, doesn't actually function like a traditional jungler, right? You're not going to really get him while he's doing his camps. You're just able to walk in and kind of take away all the camps that he's picked. Luckily, they placed a ward down towards the entrance of red side. Because they see Graves on that top side, they are effectively splitting the map. We're going to see a split map state. Faulty is going to see Ivern here, but it's a 2v1. Graves on the other side of the map.
A lot of damage being sent out, though. The Ignite, the Flash, might be able to find the last auto. Faulty not quite going to be able to make it in. So it will be Ivern getting away alive, but that tree only got to tag the Raptors, and Graves has cleared up his entire top quadrant. That's going to be a massive win here for Team Vertex.
Yeah, I believe Fruity Carrot queued over, used his smite on the red buff here, so he was able to get the red buff. Did still tick the camp, so maybe he'll reach back around to that Raptor camp and take that over. But right now, Graves should have a pretty nice substantial farm lead. But we talked about splitting the map, and look at topside.
Yeah, and Shook really feeling that one up here. Harry Carry not going to be able to get the kill, but, that's always a nice a gank as Graves, realistically, it's really hard to actually get kills on your ganks, right? Because you have no lockdown. You have the W, but it doesn't actually do that much CC. So being able to poke out the enemy laner is pretty much an ideal gank unless they're already low. So Aatrox forced to back way back there, gonna miss a few waves. Bon Mi gonna be a lot more comfortable in this lane, as we did hear mentioned, he is on a little bit of an autofill.
Yeah, I mean, although that gank doesn't kill, that's effectively a base back, right? That's 8-10 seconds potentially that you have to worry about not being in lane, missing some minions here. And we should talk about the gank setup that Graves had, because it's not a lot, right?
Yeah.
Like, Bon Mi's going to be level 6. He'll get some gank setup down. Vaulty already used his flash, so you can't even get the flash E off, right? Where you vault over them or vault behind them and you can get that CC off. It's really going to be up to Harry Carey ganking this bot side, potentially catching out with the CC setup from the Alistar and the Ziggs here, the extra damage, to really get those kills. The good thing about Ivern, though, is if you get invaded, you're a low economy jungler. Your total item, 3-item threshold for like what your core build is, I think it's like 7,000 gold, right? You go Redemption, Moonstone, and you go like Ardent Censer, or you go Dawn Core, whatever you want to go here. And that's like effectively 7,000 gold. That's very cheap considering what Graves has to build, right? $3,000 items, or 3,000 gold items here. So it's nice. It's nice that you get the invade off, you get the extra income, but it doesn't affect Ivern as much as it should, given the items that he builds.
Definitely true, and I mean, the most important thing would be the XP department, but he looks pretty comfortable over there. You know, they're both sitting at level 4, so not going to be the end of the world. Clear Vikings might be able to catch out Harry Carey. Does get caught, but he seems like the Q is there as well. Harry Carey does have flash, but will he use it? Oh my goodness, might just go down to the Ignite take. He will end up falling. First blood goes the way of Not Sandwich and Nuclear Vikings.
Yeah, and that's just a good catch from them. Fruity Carrot came off the reset, was pathing bot anyways, and nice pickup onto Harry Carey, and, you know, kind of punishing that. I wouldn't say over-aggressiveness, but just misstep from him, right? Thinking he was safe in that tri-bush. Didn't realize he could eat a whole ton of pain, especially with that Leona, Lucian, like the passive stacking plus the double shot. It can get very, very bursty very quickly here, and Harry Carey, unfortunately, didn't have his grit fully stacked. That's unfortunate, but the kill does go over to Sandwich, so it's not the end of the world. It is just a support, but a nice 1,000 gold lead for Nuclear Vikings at the 6-minute mark, and Harry Carey's back.
Yep. Tossed in the bouncy castle, forced to flash away. There will be much more follow-up, but Ornhorn does get called, but yeah, Fruity Carrot in the area will deter any more follow-up coming out. And I mean, once again, Bon Mi will get a wave in, right? Will be a little bit more comfortable in this lane, but no kills going over towards the side of Vertex just yet.
And I love that Fruity Carrot's just been like this annoying presence. It's gonna be even more annoying here. They're not gonna be able to stop, I would say, the Grubs, unless, yeah, the Syndra is actually gonna come in here and.
I mean, you see the Quinn like a level down, no mana.
Yeah.
Like, no HP.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, Doctor said, how do you play this lane? And it looks like this is how it goes out here. They're not just gonna stop the Grubs, they're actually gonna take it here. But I will say this, Ivern is probably the worst solo objective taker in the history of League of Legends. Like, it's him and Shaco are like 1 and 2 right now. Like, they are so bad at taking objectives by themselves. The thing is, at least Shaco gets like extra damage and stuff. He needs his team to help with Dragon, to help with Grubs here. So them pushing them off, nice, it's good, but he actually can't do anything with it. And unfortunately, that's going to allow Harry Carey to pick these up here. You need a team to take objectives. That's just kind of how it works with Ivern. You can't really do things by yourself.
And yeah, that is the telling of a pretty sad tale here for the side of Nuclear Vikings, right? They have done well to kind of stall out a lot of these objectives and even win out in a couple of these positions where Vertex were overstepping, but not really able to convert them into neutral objectives just yet. Looks like the team has moved towards the Dragon enough, so it will be a trade of Dragon for Grubs. A pretty standard trade you see in a lot of these competitive games, but it's good to see that Fruity Carrot was able to get his laners over the move.
Yeah, and, you know, I will say Nuclear Vikings doesn't care too much about the Grubs, right? They've got an Ivern, they've got a Lucian, they've got Syndra. They want to kind of like scrap you in team fights, right? I preferably, I don't really love side laning with the Ivern. I don't really like playing to sides here. You want to get those like nice, juicy team fights where you can get massive redemption heals, lots of Moonstone shields, stuff like that, where your team can kind of just push forward with all the effective extra HP they have. But with Vertex's comp, because they have a Ziggs, because they have a Quinn that can side lane as well, these extra Grubs, if they can hit that 5-6 Grub mark, will be annoying later on. And also, Grubs just allows you to end games quicker than they should because of the pushing power. So if they take a bad team fight, Nuclear Vikings take a bad team fight, they could end, you know, maybe like a tier 2, a tier 3. Like there's a lot of ramping amplifications of getting 6 grubs here.
Yeah, and it's a good thing that you identified that, right? Just the fact that whether objectives are good for you or not, you also have to consider whether it's really good for the enemy team. So Nuclear Vikings, looks like they do want to put the Ziggs behind, considering that the grubs have been given over, but won't be able to get any ganks going off just yet. And Ivern will move back towards his camps. A little bit of a weird, like, clear path I'm seeing from Ivern. It doesn't seem like his jungle's set up perfectly, so going to be a bit unfortunate for Fruity Carrot here, as Graves has been perma-farming, so he's going to be about 20 CS up. It's a pretty nice spot for Harry Carey, considering that they have been a little bit behind on a couple of these objectives and just plays in general.
Yeah, it can never be too clean, right, with the Ivern, just because of the way the champion punches. You tick your camps, you do a gank, you go back, and you're like, well, did I lose out on efficiency? I don't really know. As long as you're matching Harry Carey, right, which, honestly, Fruity Carrot has been doing a good job, right? Saved his top laner with their bot lane. Uh-oh.
Yep, Alistar, look for an engage here on 2. Not Sandwich is going to be able to flash away. Harry Carey taking a lot of damage. Brody does get disconnected from that culling, so it will not be any members of Vertex falling today, but again, a pretty dodgy situation considering that Harry Carey was the one that was making that a 3v2. Oh my goodness.
And yeah, that's what's going to happen
has flash.
in that lane.
Okay. I mean, Faulty has to be careful here. You can't disrespect the Syndra, right? But yeah, just going to back.
Ivern. Up.
Okay. Ooh.
Yeah, we were both thinking the same thing. Like, Daisy is another champion, pretty much, right? Like, you can tank, you can get a lot of stuff off. And that's the other thing in these team fights as well, where I said that you don't like to really side lane as Ivern. You can effectively make fight 6v5, right? Graves into Ivern's very good because of the way the autos function and how it pushes back Daisy every time. It's a nice matchup, but if Fruity Carrot hits the Q, that Daisy's going to come barreling towards anyone. And realistically, it's Banh Mi and Kachi that can have to tank that Q. Going to have to tank a lot of that damage here. They've got a solid front line. But realistically, Graves, Quinn, and Ziggs, they aren't like long-form sustained damage. They're burst, right? They are burst champions. And when you have shielding, when you have yielding, you can tank that burst and re-engage if you're on the side of Nuclear Vikings. I feel like right now, despite how slow this game has gone, Fruity Carrot has fulfilled his objective, right? Keep the Graves without getting any kills, shadow him everywhere, and allow your laners to get natural mechanical leads. And you can see that in both the top and mid lanes with their CS leads. They're effectively 1,000 gold ahead, 1.3k, and they're just going to walk into some of these objective fights.
And Ivern almost completed that first item as well, so pretty much on pace with the Graves, considering that his items are cheaper, right? So Fruity Carrot doing really well so far in this game, and that is something that's going to matter later on with the fact that Ziggs also will be providing so much poke, right? Speaking of these two teams fighting, the Ornhorn gets called, and Fruity Carrot might just be the target. Into the bouncy castle he goes, and the burn will take him out. Kakashi will claim that kill for himself. Now both supports having 1 kill to their name. And it looks like Vertex will be able to at least move towards those grubs.
Ivern's just getting really greedy with his flash, right? The moment you see them walking towards you, the moment you see the Ornhorn, you've got to try to flash it because there's so much overhead damage that can come in once you get CC'd up. You saw the Ziggs bump. You saw potentially the collateral damage coming in if it wasn't able to get the kill here. And yeah, that's just Fruity Carrot being really greedy. And then he ends up flashing after all the damages come out, so he's already dead anyways, didn't even have his shield. Really, really unfortunate. And that one play allows Team Vertex to stack those 6 grubs. Now, the Dragon should be in response. It's coming up in 30 seconds. You already see Akronos and the rest of the gang trying to take their bats, kind of reset. But Ivern's already there. Leona's putting wards down, and Brody has come in with his Essence Reaver.
Banh Mi might be able to get something done here onto Shutch. Does burn the flash really quickly, and will dissuade that again. Once again, Graves moves top, gets a flash off of this Ornn, but there's a response from the bot this time. Nuclear Vikings looking for a dive. Kakashi still has that ult available to him. Actually doesn't. But looks like the dive will get called off. Just control over this bottom side for Nuclear Vikings. Enough to secure this Dragon.
Yeah, I mean, it was worth it to go for the play, right? See if you can get a kill here, see if you can force something out. But they chunk Kakashi down to about 3/4 of his HP. They already knew Harry Carey was topside. Chuck has lived through now 3 gank attempts, right? He's got the Black Cleaver ready. He's doing completely fine here. He's got a nice chunky, what I'm going to say, 20 CS lead right now over Banh Mi here. So they're doing completely fine. And that is an Infernal Soul on the menu. So now if you're Team Vertex, you can't just trade anymore, right? There is a timer. There is a very, very nice, juicy Infernal Soul ready to be picked up by Nuclear Vikings in about 10 minutes if they don't contest any of these dragons.
And I mean, alternatively, right, if this game starts to flip a little bit in a way of who has that objective control, it could be absolutely fatal if Vertex even pick up a few of these, right? Because we were already talking about the burst that they have, about the amount of damage that they can output in an instant. And now, if they are able to secure a couple of Infernal Dragons on top of that, it really boosts that up. So really want to be careful not to give any of these over either.
Yeah, you just have to think of it as if there is like a damage line, a threshold, right? How much damage can you do before Fruity Carrot gets enough healing and shielding, right? Will there be a Serpent's Fang being built out from someone like Harry Carey, right? That could be really effective, especially into the Ivern. Like, there's things you can do to mitigate some of the shielding and healing, but it's not enough.
Harry Carey in the middle of the enemy jungle, just gonna get taken down. You can't move against a Leona and an Ivern. Maybe expecting the Quinn to be able to move, or the Alistar there to back him up. But in the bottom lane, Brody 1v1ing Nectarios will be able to dissuade Brody from finding that culling. The ult does not land, and oh my goodness, Brody with the flash forward! Not quite able to connect the second auto attack, and so Nectarios will live for now. But on his way out, Kakashi trying to be the bouncer here, not let Fruity Carrot into this club. And it looks like Nectarios will be able to make it out alive, but that turret is ripe for the taking for Nuclear Vikings, but Brody really doesn't want to risk that one. Will back away. Akranos free hitting as well, and just so much turret control coming out from Nuclear Vikings. Faulty, mid lane though.
1v1.
I mean, yeah, the Scout of the Week is just so difficult for Faulty to play around. He is still looking, but I think Syndra's out.
Yeah, I mean, you can't really dodge it as well from the Quinn, right? You don't have like an ability to like reposition necessarily. You've got to like kind of use your, I would say, hawk form move speed to like kind of dodge it out if you can, and then descend upon
like
the Syndra. But yeah, Akranos has just been super good on keeping his Scout of the Week there, landing it every single time. And honestly, this Quinn pick has done absolutely nothing for me. No mid control. Wasn't really there at the more important objectives. Yeah, you got the grubs, but I don't think that was a result of Quinn being in the mid lane. It was a result of Team Vertex just playing around where their lanes are strong and getting priority and getting a kill onto Fruity Carry here. Realistically, this Quinn just hasn't shown up. Maybe in the side lane it'll be different. It can match someone like Brody. It kind of works effectively as like a super fast pick potential, right? Where if they're overextended, you kind of just come in flying like a Rengar and hopefully kill the squishy mid laner or the squishy side laner that is the Lucian if he's picking up like top or bottom lane. I don't actually think he can 1v1 the Aatrox. So I think Aatrox is just going to get super far ahead. The ult comes in, the healing. I think it's too much for Faulty to handle, even with Ignite.
Yeah, and I mean, the benefits of Quinn are usually to offset the fact that, you know, she is currently sitting pretty at 40 CS down, right? So you kind of do need to get that done. You need to get your team accelerated by moving around the map early. Okay,
yeah.
Faulty needs to be careful. Not Sandwich, not quite landing. That Zenith Blade, the culling is out, and that's just going to be a very dead Quinn. Not Sandwich doing really well to zone with that Solar Flare. Harry Carey moves in, might be able to clear this wave, but I mean, putting it on full display that this Quinn may look faulty.
Yeah, I can't really see the power just yet. yeah, I can't fault him for that. Yeah, I knew it.
Oh, Nectarios.
Oh my god.
Oh my goodness, Akranos, a very aggressive engage, and Harry Carey not able to auto attack because there's a person in the way. Will go down as well. Not Sandwich picks that one up for himself, going 2-0-2. Hyper carry Leona in this game, but that's going to be a 1-5 scoreline for the side of Nuclear Vikings and Vertex. They just look lost.
And we see what happens when the Syndra is allowed to free farm for 17 minutes. That is a Ludens and Magic Pen Boot Syndra there, and everyone pretty much is going to be paper mache on the side of Vertex. You saw how quickly the Ziggs was able to get bursted out here, flashing over the wall, and we've got a Dragon coming up in 25 seconds, and just peep the gold a little bit, Dralche. Around, what, 9 to 10 minutes, it was a 1,000 gold lead for Nuclear Vikings. We've fast-forwarded nearly 10 minutes here, and they've got a 4,000 gold lead coming onto this third Dragon. You have to believe that Infernal Soul is going to be in their pockets. There's very few scaling options on the side of Vertex as well. Yeah, you have the Ziggs, but realistically, this Ornn is meant to power up your carries, and your carries just aren't doing too well right now.
Yeah, and I mean, that's not even considering the fact that, you know, like, there's not that much standing gold that they haven't claimed, right? They still have a lot to claim. They got the mid turret, but they still have to claim bot turret. They still have to claim top tier 1 as well, and usually when you see teams this far ahead, it's kind of like matched with the fact that, oh, they've gotten turrets that the other team hasn't yet, so the other team has ways back in. But at this point in the game, it really does feel like an insurmountable gold lead. But, you know, Rift Herald picked up, objective bounty claimed. It's a good start. Vertex working their way back in. They can even look towards this top turret, get some of their standing gold down, but Lucian in that bottom lane relentlessly hitting that tier 2. It's just, what are they going to be able to do against what Nuclear Vikings are actually applying pressure-wise?
Yeah, and the big question for Team Vertex is, how do we win fights? What is our team's objective? How do we win games here? Do we play through side aggressively with the Quinn when we have Graves Nash? Do we play for team fights because we have Ornn and Ziggs? Like, is there a 1-3-1 angle potentially, right? It's very, very interesting. As they are going to get the tier 2 in the top side here. That's 700 gold split among 3 members, but now the long chase commences.
I mean, yeah, not as long of a chase as you might have hoped. Banh Mi going to be the sacrificial lamb here, and looks like the cow is also on the chopping block. Kakashi able to body slam Akranos out of the way, but yeah, the Solar Flare comes down, the slows, the damage. No real way out, and that's going to be 2 kills picked up, about 600 gold in exchange for 700. Not as ideal as you'd hope.
Not really, and you get control of this topside quadrant prior to the Baron here coming in 20 seconds. If I'm Nuclear Vikings, I rip it the moment it spawns. Realistically, how does Harry Carey walk in if Akranos is just sitting in one of these bushes, right? The bushes that Ivern makes, it's a very, very deadly combo because you cannot clear out everything here, and the burst, the turnaround potential, you are nearly 5,000 gold there. Let's say 3,000 realistically, and now Shook with the TP down to the bottom side is going to have just full control of that bot. He has to be answered, and look, they're going for a bit.
No way out, yeah. Just CC to Oblivion will get taken down. Another kill going the way of Leona. That's a 3-0 for Leona. Oh my goodness, Shutch underneath the tier 2, the tier 3 turret bot lane. That's just an absolute atrocity. Banh Mi on the top side going to be able to escape his tier 1, but it seems like no one can escape the clutches of Nuclear Vikings.
Baron, it's a Baron angle. You've killed him. You've killed the jungler. You've killed the mid laner. You've got Ivern shields. You've got Daisy as well to tank. Like, I mean, I guess we're afraid potentially of the alley-oop from the Ziggs and the Alistar.
Like, Syndra's gonna have a full item on back, at least.
Yep. And it's a Storm Surge. She's feeling herself. It's a Storm Surge.
And a Fiendish Codex.
Yeah, and on top of that, Fiendish Codex, you've also got Moonstone completed on Fruity Carrot here. Maybe now, because the reset comes in with the gold, they can start pressuring Baron here, but this is what I don't like about you, right? You're so far ahead, and I know Nuclear Vikings has been playing pretty much excellent up until this point, but you've got to be more aggressive around the Baron. You've got to be ready to take these when you can and take them early, because you're definitely far enough ahead. You press tab. Yeah, they don't have the luxury of having the gold like us viewers, like us casters, but you can do some mental math. I've got 2 items to the 1 of Faulty. My top laner is ripping 177 CS right now. Lucian is at IE Essence Reaver. I think we're firmly far ahead. Let's start this Baron. Let's rip it. Let's get a fight. Let's get the objective. Let's do something, because ping-ponging waves back and forth is not that good, as we do see even the gold, right? Look, we have the luxury of seeing this. They're so far ahead.
And it looks like Vertex trying to get something back at least, right? Maybe kill this Aatrox. There is a shutdown available, but Shutch, so far so good, able to run away. But yeah, the slows will come out. The Ziggs ult, they throw everything towards this top side, and I mean, it's going to be traded towards the bottom side. We'll just have to see whether Vertex can get something done. They have 6 Void Grubs, right? So they can actually look for this tier 3 turret. They might even be able to take it down before a reset comes out. But Akranos in that bottom side, 700 gold just to himself.
Yeah, they're going to take this tier 3 in the top side. Like you mentioned here, they're not going to push. They're not going to go for the inhib, because if they do get wiped, if 1 or 2 of them do get caught, there could be a potential Baron angle here. Mid lane as well being pressured. So a nice pick, a nice catch from Team Vertex onto the Aatrox.
Yeah, watch Akranos. Nectarios not going to be able to get out with the W that time just yet. The Solar Flare will not quite land, but the Zenith Blade will. Nectarios still under threat. Akranos living in the exchange with the Quinn. Into the backline goes the Alistar, though. Kakashi buying a little bit of time. Faulty can't quite find a way in. The Syndra is so dang strong. It's going to be a 1-for-1 for now. Nectarios free hitting onto Not Sandwich, actually, and is getting a lot of damage down. Not Sandwich forced to flash away. Fruity Carrot, not the front laner you actually want as Nuclear Vikings, and it looks like it's actually going to be a team fight win for Vertex.
Yeah, unfortunately, Syndra was their only damage threat in that team fight. Brody was a bit late to that fight, and the burst that came out, right? We talked about the threshold. It's not enough. Aatrox is here.
Kakashi, yeah, just gonna go down, instantly deleted by Brody, and next on the chopping block is Banh Mi, able to get the dash away, but the pull back from the Aatrox, and Banh Mi gonna get slapped down by Shutch.
And you love that if you're Aatrox. The Ivern Q into the immediate threshold, into the attack range. Oh yeah, I'm just gonna get another free Q and stuff like that. You can see how the Nuclear Vikings comp functions when they have more than one damage threat in these team fights, whether it's the Syndra Lucian, the Aatrox Lucian, or the Syndra Aatrox. It becomes very, very difficult, especially with all that lockdown that's supplemented with the Leona, with the Ivern. You're not getting away. And Harry Carey, he is desperately running to this dragon right now.
Infernal Soul, right? Like, you have to try and get in, but it's an absolute Demon King in front of you. Shutch able to get him deleted. Oh my goodness. So much damage on Defaulty. He just gets blown up as well. Infernal Soul picked up for the side of Nuclear Vikings. And I mean, we already saw people getting absolutely exploded. It's going to get so much worse for Vertex.
Surely we do the Baron now, right? Nuclear Vikings,
I mean, you
surely.
can do whatever you want. Like this map is yours. You have Infernal Soul. You are 6,000 gold up at 24 minutes. Like, anything is yours. The world's your oyster.
And Kalios right now trying to play fish in a barrel, and he's not going to really be able to get the kill. Although, Kronos is out of position.
Can get collapsed on, but Kakashi really not allowed to move, and it looks like the Ornhorn will get called, but it will be sent back towards the Baron. Akronos able to get a kill onto Kakashi. The Baron will go the way of Fruity Carrot, and Nuclear Vikings can fight now that they have the worm, now that they're dressed in purple. They get the kill onto Banh Mi. They might just spot out Nectarios. Shutch trying to dodge these abilities, and Nectarios does have a lot of damage. You have to respect the Ziggs. The W comes out, put the culling over the wall, the damage to follow up the CC from Not Sandwich, and it's going to be Shutch on a killing spree.
They're going to reset with all that gold in their pocket. The third item being picked up for Akronos here. The Crypt Bloom, the Magic Pen, plus a needlessly large rod. 5, 1, and 2 on the Syndra. You've also got a 5, 1, and 3 Aatrox. All the damage threats on the side of Nuclear Vikings are well fed here. Their bellies are full, and Fruity Carrot and Not Sandwich are just providing the shield and the lockdown. A really well-designed comp coming from Nuclear Vikings, and honestly, Team Vertex, they're on a timer, right? I like that they're trying to get weird, but unfortunately, they just got out-skilled here in the top side, in the mid lane here. It was just very, very rough from the get-go.
It's a better scoreline for the side of Nuclear Vikings, right? And that is going to be somewhat a result of the draft. It doesn't look like the Quitten maybe operated as well as they would have hoped, and sadly, that kind of bled into everything else. As well as the Graves, right? We were talking about him kind of needing to get off the ground early, but also not having that gank set up for himself. It becomes very difficult to actually operate in this game and make it so difficult for yourselves in the draft. But either way, Vertex still fighting valiantly. I don't know if they actually have a way back in. I mean, like, I don't want to be too doom and gloom, but what copium are you trying to huff here?
I'm kicking the can, unfortunately. No more copium for me. I've huffed enough. I'm an NA guy, man. I've huffed too much copium. I can't do any more. I will.
Okay, Quinn split push win the game because they stop all backs.
Yeah, you've got a really good supplier there. I need to see what you have. As maybe Quinn split push can get that tier 3 in it, but realistically, Baron minions pushing down, Baroned up members of Nuclear Vikings are going to take the bottom lane as they just took mid lane here. And realistically, you don't even have the Ornn items. The guy's level 13. He's been starved. He's been underserved right now. And realistically, I don't think Team Vertex can start the fight. As long as maybe Nuclear Vikings can just kind of siege and push, they're going to reset. They've got, like you said, standing gold in that mid tier 3 and bottom lane tier 3. They all just kind of have to push top, right? 4 members top, maybe put your Aatrox on the bottom side or even the mid lane here. But they are well versed to take this game pretty soon here. There's no need to keep stalling it out here. Not that it gets that much worse if Banh Mi hits like level 14, level 15 because of the lack of scaling factors on the side of Team Vertex. I'm not afraid of a 4-item Graves. I'm not afraid of a 4-item Quinn. Maybe I'm afraid of a 3 or 4-item Ziggs realistically. But if you look on the side of Fruity Carrot, he's got his 3-item core. He's got the Dawn core, which exponentially shoots up your shielding and healing power. I think right now, with that Chemtech Dragon as well, he should be at about 42% shield and heal power, give or take.
Yeah, I mean, Vertex definitely need to weather a little bit more than a storm here, maybe even a hurricane. It's just so much of a deficit for them. But okay, might be able to find the miracle here. Akronos is getting low. Shutch forced to dash away. Pretty Carrot did expend the Redemption, but this is exactly what we talked about. Moonstone, like the healing coming out from Pretty Carrot. They can actually all stay besides Akranos. Akranos probably could have stayed, but has the TP available. And they'll continue the onslaught. They'll continue the decimation of Vertex's base. And I mean, they still need to look for a Miracle Engage. They don't have the Ornhorn any longer. They don't have Graves ult. They don't have Ziggs ult. I don't know what they have that they can actually fight with here.
A prayer, a dream, maybe. Realistically, though, without the Baron, the Ziggs wave clear can stifle some of the siege that Nuclear Vikings have. Right? There's a little bit. There's a little bit of wave clear here, but realistically, eventually they'll just be able to whittle this turret down as long as Buddy just steps up, uses the double shot passive, and just takes the turret down.
Vaulty? Yeah, I mean, usually that is a Quinn angle there, but sadly Faulty just a little bit too far behind. That Syndra used every single item in her arsenal. Did end up dying in the end on the opposite side, but look towards your own team. The Ziggs is in the grave. You have no wave clear any longer. Nuclear Vikings looking to pick up game 1 here. Not much longer until they do so. I'd have to assume they're going to look for the kills. They're going to look for those leaderboard padding, pad those stats up. They will get all the kills besides Bonmi. Nope, they can claim him in the end as well. And they'll get the Nexus. They will go 1-0 up. And they will move into a pretty good position, I'd say, as your first game of this tournament.
Yeah, I mean, nothing more to say than Nuclear Vikings just kind of handling Team Vertex, right? They were able to kind of look at the draft and say, you know what? They don't really have something too cohesive. We'll lock a Syndra. We'll play the Ivern. You're going to give that to us for free. We'll take it in. You saw the value that team of Vertex just couldn't go up against, right? There was healing, there was shielding, there was lockdown. You've got a ton of burst with the Syndra, plus the Lucian, right? That can just follow up on the CC. And I think that was the big thing for Team Vertex that we couldn't really see. Yeah, you saw the Ornhorn. Yeah, you saw some of the Alistar, W, Pole, Q kind of combos come out. But the Ziggs, the Graves, the Quinn, they just didn't have enough damage to follow up. It was that one kill onto the Ivern prior to that second round of grubs that you can kind of really saw how their comp functions. But after that, they were just never allowed to play the game. Map control was 90% in favor of Nuclear Vikings throughout that match here. And it was just really rough, especially with the extra bushes, hiding players like the Syndra, like the Lucian, like the Leona. It just becomes very, very difficult to face check and play into this. I liked what Team Vertex tried to do. I respect that. I have a lot of respect for people that try to do things differently in draft. But it just wasn't cohesive enough. Maybe if you swap the Graves out for a Nocturne, you can look for like a Quinn side lane angle. I couldn't really understand what Vertex was supposed to do come mid to late game, how they were supposed to navigate the map to get themselves a win.
Yeah, it definitely didn't look like it was operating as well as maybe they had hoped, right? Sometimes you can throw some sort of Quinn pick or like some sort of crazy pick into the mix, and it kind of throws things off a bit. But they picked it really early, right? They kind of gave themselves a chance to get countered by Nuclear Vikings in that draft. And I mean, Nuclear Vikings just putting on an absolute clinic there in this game. So just really insane performance from them. But I think that's going to be it from us here for this game, or for our first game of the night. And we'll be moving towards game 4 of the night. Ruddy Esports taking on DMG after a really short break. Guys, don't go anywhere, and we'll be right back with the desk.
And welcome back, everybody, ahead of our final game of the day. And we've got some heavy hitters, boys. We've got Ruddy Esports going up against DMG UK. Ruddy, of course, have pretty much gone completely unchanged. Their usual squad is here, with the exception of the fact that they've sniped Errol for the mid lane. So we've got Akkas Crisis, Errol, Sin, Jamsu. That sounds like a pretty stacked roster.
Yeah, it's on the cusp of a super team. I say on the cusp because I am just
Isn't
trying
that
to
a
keep
curse
things
phrase?
interesting.
Isn't that just like a...
Could be. It's not as cursed as Quinn into Syndra, but anyway, too soon. Anyway, no, I do think Ruddy, you know, they come off the back of a very successful Summer Cup run. They come into the split as favorites, alongside, you know, Verdant. I think those two rosters are at the top of the league at the moment, and well, they are playing against a strong team, but I really do expect them to show why they are still the top rated team in the league.
On the other side, though, DMG Esports, there's a few names that we do know. Nefarious definitely stands out. I'm pretty sure I've seen Gibble around the block as well, but a couple of these players perhaps a little bit less known, Savonix.
Yeah, well, I mean, the bot lane, Rhynek actually, if I'm not mistaken, is a name change from Hawkeye, so it is the same player. Yeah,
okay.
So I think it is the exact same
know.
roster as the Summer Cup. It is just a name change in the bot lane. I always can be confusing. Like, oh, who's this new guy? It's the same guy. But yeah, DMG was a solid contender in the Summer Cup. I think they showed a very high level of individual play. I'm a really big fan of their mid laner Akira. I think his champion pool is very suited to the current meta as well. Very good on Yone. Yone is broken at the moment, so I'm very excited to see what they do. They are against a tough team, so there's going to be a big mountain to climb for them in this game.
Absolutely. Doctor, do you have any areas of the map you want to particularly focus on for this one? Obviously...
I don't know, these guys.
Have you just like completely depleted after that last game?
I was depleted before the last game. I've never seen any of these DMG players in my life, but at least I know a thing or two about Ruddy. Shout out the Ruddy Painkillers, massive. I will tell you a story about tenacity, and this is not Mercury Treads. As I think that one thing that Ruddy do have going for them is, you know, Crisis is a man who does not give up. As I regale you with the Insomnia back in April, the fabled Army Stage series, What a Time to Be Alive, wherein Crisis ran into his jungle, you know, level 1, forced off of every single camp, loses his flash, nearly killed, and is just down like 3 levels. He was down something like 4 camps at the like 3-minute mark, and they were just all his. It's like, okay, cool, he's got nothing. He manages to clutch up the game, bring it back. He doesn't let it get to him. sources, including himself, would later reveal it absolutely very much got to him. He was fuming. He was on the cuff. But he somehow got like a triple and brought it back. It was fine. And then I watched that same man go to the casino, run it up like, 40 quid or something on the slots, big time, big day, and then lose it all. And for an hour, just keep putting another one in, just another one in, not a crumb of serotonin. It was just down into the triple digits at this point, and then win it all back again and break even on the day. So this is a man who will not stop trying. And it was the most degenerate thing I've ever seen, but he didn't lose a penny. He made 17 pence of profit, I think it was, after all that.
And that's all
so,
that matters.
That's all he needs coming on into this game. That's all I know about either of these teams.
A plus is a plus, as it comes, as it is in life, as it is in League of Legends.
It was a big day. It was a big day for the Crisis Massive, I'll tell you that much.
What a story! What a story! I feel like someone should make a TikTok edit about this one.
My God.
Oh God! Don't invite them. I mean, we even have we even have like someone of that age group. We had Benes the Menace in earlier, certified Zoomer on the broadcast.
Oh really? How old is he?
Yeah,
Zoomers, dude.
I think he's like 19. He was saying that he barely uses Twitter, and that would it be possible to shout out his TikTok?
Oh my God.
Yeah.
It's a very handsome man. I will say that.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
He can't be that cool.
I didn't have the effort left. I didn't have the effort left in my body to do that, but I said like maybe you can ask. When it's not a cast of Moonlighting as a producer, that maybe they can do that for him. But
Moonlight, what is this? Aphelios? Moonlight Vigil. Aphelios
and you know what?
His weapon with
it's dark outside right now. This is my Moonlight Vigil. I don't have the black hair and I'm not emo as heck, but sure, I'll take that.
Moonlighter, Spotlight, yeah. Where's the game, man? What are we doing?
It's a ready game. Doctor, it's a ready game, which means that we're still waiting for Ready to actually get into the lobby.
I swear to God.
Oh right, of course. Is there like punishments? Can you out who's missing from the lobby?
I will not go that far.
Ah, boring.
It's Jamsu. It's just I already know.
Actually, isn't. In fact, it's actually your goat.
It's my goat, not Crisis.
That is a bit of a crisis.
Oh, God, it's one thing I do.
We're running on fumes tonight, aren't we?
I have specific beef with exactly one of the Ruddy players, and it's Akers, that 14-year-old in my head rapscallion, who is now like 22 or something, but he was 14 when I first started casting him, and he's still 14 now. I despise so much that he plays every tournament on his Smurf of Erling Narland, because he just has an account called Akers with all the champions. It's not like he's like, oh, this hasn't got. Yes, it does. It account's 20 years old. It's older than he is somehow. But
by the way, he is legit playing on his Akers account today.
Is he actually?
Yes.
Thank God. Jeez, I hate it every time. Great, Erling Narland Shaw. That's the kind of name that you change after a month or two. Let's be honest with ourselves. But God, you have the Akers account.
Oh no.
Account called Akers.
Got called out in the lobby.
What's Crisis playing on when he gets there? Tell me he's not playing on. The account he played on Insomnia was just like, it was just like a name. Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, he's playing on Mohammed Abdulaziz. Yeah, that's not his name. I don't know who this is. And every time you ask, who's Mohammed Abdulaziz? And they're like, bro, it's Mohammed. And I'm like, you're not Arabic.
That's not his actual name. There's just some.
No,
it's just a name. I'm like,
it is a name. It is not his name.
Someone's name. It's identity theft.
True.
God, can't get a straight answer out of any.
But I have on good information that we will be getting into draft shortly. We need to persist a little longer. To get not to get in the way of utter memes. But Savonix, is there any area, any matchup in particular you want to focus on when we go through this draft and into the game?
I'm actually really keen to see this mid lane matchup here. Errol showed he was just not even the best mid, the best player of the Summer Cup, actually. Didn't end up winning it with Verdant. He kind of went over to the other side in Ruddy. So I think really talented player. Yep. He has EU Masters experience, so I don't really know what he's doing here. It's kind of one of those weird ones where it's like you're overqualified for your position, but we're happy to watch you. And I'm excited to see Akira play into a player like Errol. I know Akira. I played against him actually, Akira, in the Summer Cup, and he came across as a kind of player who isn't afraid to, duke it out regardless of who he's playing against. And I think he might see that fancy big name on the other side of the board, but he won't be scared of him. He'll be confident going into him, and I'm really excited to see these two mid laners play against each other.
I was hoping they'd be in draft by now, but they are still slacking.
As we all were, but here we.
Oh no!
we
I literally, as I say it,
hey,
they lock in, and we can lock in a little bit for some hard-hitting analysis of this match. Brom already off the board.
I spent so long setting this up.
So what?
Wait and see.
Yeah. Bro off the board. What that kind of signifies is they might want to go for the Misfortune or something like an Ornn. Might just be a comfort pick for DMG, and a Gibble played very good Braum games in the Summer Cup. I might have just made that up. If please do not fact check me, but I do remember him playing some Braum. And Rel taken off as well. Probably, despite the recent nerfs, I actually think it was a bit of a placebo. Still a very strong support, engage champion. I think B1s, a lot of B1s are still open. Okay, never mind. Jin just got banned.
We've already,
someone
yeah,
take
so
him.
we already saw a couple of Jins.
Yeah.
This evening. That's going to get taken away.
Jin, I mean, personally, I'm not really sure why exactly, but it seems to be
just kind of come out of nowhere.
Yeah, it's been B1'd in multiple regions. I remember watching LCK, and there was contests over Jhin. I am personally a bit confused on this champ because I'm like, every time I watch it attack a tank, it does nothing. Yet it is like picked as this mega powerful champion. Ziggs banned away. I mean, Ziggs is a much more regional ban. We didn't see the power of the Ziggs in the last game, but still a really strong
Didn't
pick.
really get to see it considering the
no,
he didn't try
the power
to see
of the
it.
team running into it.
The team running into it, he did nothing. Didn't try for a single plate. Built full scaling. But I don't get this exact. Like, I've been casting the EPL, and every time all we have first 6 picks, it is just MF Varus, Rel Leona, and then like Yone +1, maybe Maokai or Brand or something. Like,
what a B1 Lucian.
In tank meta, I don't get why people are slamming this Jhin in everywhere. Ooh.
Yeah, no, good catch there. B1 Lucian. I'm not a big fan of this champion at the moment, mainly just because it's lost a lot of power.
It feels like it gets outranged by so much as well.
Yeah, he's lost a lot of power in the mid lane, and he's very difficult to pull off in the bot lane as well. Like you mentioned, short range. He does get outscaled by a lot of things like the Jinx. If you're Jinx against a Lucian, your game plan can literally just be like, I just try not to die. If he doesn't get 3 kills in lane, I'm chilling. I'm gonna outscale him later. So it's a risky pick. Maybe it's a flex pick. We're not sure.
I mean, there are plenty of just solid follow-up picks that can go alongside this Jinx if they really want to lock in their bot lane super early. Instead, they are going to follow up with another just tried and true, solid, consistent throughput carry in the Orianna. And, I mean, that is going to outrange the Lucian if he goes mid. He is not really going to be able to farm without taking attack distances to the face. But at the beginning of the day, we talked about Jarvan creeping back up. I honestly thought he'd never really gone anywhere. And the TF is picked up here. Is TF top just completely dead? Are we expecting this to be more for Errol?
I don't think TF top is completely dead. I think there are still angles for it. However, I'm not sure what it kind of does in this composition. I'm seeing like, if you are going to be drafting TF into the top lane, there's a lot of lack of front line at the moment.
If it's mid at least. It's quite simple, Subnex. And that's what it is that, like, Errol takes his index finger and he points somewhere on the map, and whoever's nearest to that point dies.
Yeah. That is definitely true. I would say because it was picked into the Orianna, I'm not sure if it is TF mid lane, because I know Orianna can get prior quite early on.
Pretty rough.
In that.
You don't want that as the TF. It's like
Yeah,
it's worse.
yeah, exactly. So that's why I assume it is TF top lane because it was picked into Ori. But and I know Errol's smart enough to know that this is a terrible matchup for the Orianna as well. So yeah.
I think Akers is not busting out TF top. It's TF support.
Yeah. Oh.
Check yourself. It's not going to be mid into Orianna. That's terrible. We're not blinding it top in this economy, especially not with Akers. It's TF support. Like,
could be.
Any world it's ADC TF, probably not. I think that's I'm convinced.
I mean,
myself it's TF support. Like,
there is a chance. I know.
It's okay. It's pretty bad, but like.
I mean, in comparison to TF mid and top lane in this game, it's not that bad.
I mean, it's day one of the new split. If you're going to do something a bit fancy, why not?
Yeah, I mean, Ruddy Esports, they're like individually, they're talented players, and so I wouldn't be surprised if they were willing to cook a little bit in the kitchen. However, DMG, a lot more standard. The Thresh pick into the Jarvan to cancel out engage definitely makes sense. I think they just need some engage, some follow-up engage as well. I'm not sure about the Mundo because...
Alright, I'm Mundo.
I'm struggling to see a lot of ball delivery for this Orianna from the side of DMG at the moment, because the next pick is going to be either... I mean, I don't know if Mundo can be flexed into jungle for them, but...
Look at what Ruddy's put together, though, right now. This is not a trio that wants to play backwards.
No, you just... Okay, here's the strat. You just pick something that you can flex. Oh... It's still possible.
You can flex a Leona.
Something you can
play her in every role other than AD carry, right?
Be like Lucian mid, TF AD. Unfortunately, TF top is just like accidentally good now. Because,
yeah, it is. It is pretty
good. Really
chills into the Mundo, doesn't it?
It's really good versus the Mundo.
Never mind.
It's not.
Could be TF AD Lucian mid mega bait. Seems unlikely. Not impossible. You think, Lucian, you get TF, you get a max stack deck or max points in it. You get a Jarvan flag come down, you're chilling. But I don't know what the plan is here, lads.
Yeah, it's definitely a tricky one to kind of figure out what is going on, to be honest.
Who is jungling here?
It's probably Mundo. It's probably Mundo going into the jungle. I really like this Malphite pick, to be honest, because I was kind of looking for DMG to get engage off, and simple as that. Press R, big rock, right? Ball delivery is pretty straightforward. DMG's composition, I have to say, looks really, really easy to play. It's like quite hard to mess this one up.
Yeah, just like Jinx and Orianna at the back, everyone else in front, or more specifically, Mundo Malphite at the front, Thresh somewhere in the middle, the other two behind.
Yep, simple as that. They don't need to necessarily rush this game. There's scaling on their side. They don't need to win the game. If anything bad happens in the early, they don't need to panic. It's a very nice draw from DMG. But where's this TF going? I think that's the big question.
The question I've got as well, I mentioned it before, is that this Ruddy comp does not play backwards very well. So even if DMG had lacked ball delivery systems, Ruddy kind of has to play into them anyway. So the need for that is somewhat lesser, right?
Yeah, definitely. So that's really, really good point. Is kind of like Ruddy's draft will do the engaging for DMG, so they don't necessarily need to worry about a ball delivery system, but they have one anyway, just in case. And I like Malphite into the TF Lucian, of course. It's yet to see where this TF is going. If you send the Lucian mid, it's decent into Orianna. It's a much better matchup. But then, I don't really know how TF Leona bot lane works. I guess it's just about stacking CC. I'm assuming Jinx will take cleanse once that is seen where this TF is going. I think that it really is the big question mark, is where is this Twisted Fate going? And that will decide how effective this composition is.
They're gonna send it mid. That's gonna be bad. It should go bot. Like, it shouldn't have been picked. That's sort of where we're at.
Oh, is that confirmed that it's going mid?
No,
not yet.
Like,
oh.
Like, they're gonna do it. But it should go bot. Let's be honest here. Oh god.
Yeah, but then how good is TF bot lane at the moment?
Why are they not even started yet? Oh, the Rapscallions. Oh, it is flank pick, thank god. Oh.
It is mid. It is TF mid. Mm.
Errol's just feeling it.
It's his worst lane. You chose it.
Yeah, it's strange considering it was picked into the Orianna. However, what I'm suspecting is this was picked to set up. I don't know. I'm grasping at straws here. Maybe one of you guys can.
Real quick.
I mean, I find it unlikely that he's going to run grasp, but
I mean, what I was thinking was like, if TF gets a gold card and Jarvan's around, Orianna basically will die. There's an argument for that. I think, but like the actual 1v1 mid lane matchup, it's rough because TF likes to shove and he likes to move around the map. You're not going to shove out an Orianna, right? Like Orianna.
Yeah, how?
Yeah, you just can't. Like the wave control's too much. And Orianna will just have control of the mid lane. I guess the argument is like by Orianna being able to get prio, she does put herself in ganking positions. But then if the Mundo is there, yeah, if the Mundo's there or the Thresh is around to give Lantern, then Orianna should be fine. And it will be quite tricky for this Twisted Fate to play out.
It's just
maybe that's the angle. Maybe this is what Ruddy are thinking, that okay, yeah, Orianna has prio, but she kind of doesn't want it because if she steps up, she gets gold carded, she gets flag and dragged, she dies.
She doesn't step up, she doesn't have to step up. She just outranges him.
Yeah,
exactly. That doesn't say that as long as we don't see the mid lane pushed up too far, then you can just you can just hold the TF at parity and make it really difficult for him to try and get out of the lane.
He can't play the game. His cooldowns are twice as long, and he's just shorter range. He's got nothing. You take cleanse on that aura, you're chilling. You probably won't. You'll go, TP instead. But like, if you did go cleanse, you would never die a day in your life. And what can he do? He's got no wave control. He's got no trade. He's got no sustain. He's got no harass. He's got no threat. He's got nothing.
Yeah.
What was the point? I don't know. We'll see. I mean, they picked it confidently, at least, right? Like, that was a kind of quick pick coming on through.
Oh, yeah.
And it's not like you've never played this matchup before if you're a TF player. It's like,
you've seen it's existed as long as I've played League, and I've played since 2011, so...
Like, this is not a rare occurrence for you to have to play against this. Just crazy that you would opt into it. It's like, in TF days,
that's kind of where my head's at. Is like, they picked this so confidently. They must have a strategy planned. They might have suspected that Orianna was going to just be picked early on for DMG, and that they would just have this ready to play against it. But I mean, we'll have to see, obviously.
Final thoughts before we throw it across. I mean, I think Doctor is already. I think we can emphatically infer.
I think my thought is like, if take nameplates away, take the names out, and I'm like, DMG's draft is just better. It just looks better. They actually should have control over the map. Their scaling is better. But then when you take into account like the talents coming out from Roddy, that's where it becomes a little bit different. So it's hard to call because of that, like of how good Roddy Esports are. It's like, are they so good that they can kind of just get away with drafting like this and win anyway?
I mean, we've favored all sorts of stuff today. It has gone every which way. And we are now going to, for our last game of the day, throw it back to Drake and Shibby. Guys, take us home.
Thank you so much, Brackish, and thank you guys for setting the scene so nicely there for us, as the players did as well. This is going to be a little bit of a doozy yet again, it looks like, Shibby. Are you excited to see this one play out? Do you think the draft is, reasonable, or are you also expecting some shenanigans?
I love Mundo Jungle. I'm a big connoisseur of this champion. It was really popular when there were the AP junglers coming in, because as Mundo, a lot of the AP junglers relied on like one form of stun or CC to kind of get all their damage down. Yeah, you kind of countered him. Similar into the Jarvan, right? Jarvan, flag and drags. He gets the CC off. He's able to auto you. He's not really able to get all that. He's not able to get the knock-up in there. So if Mundo wants, he can kind of just walk into the Jarvan and just kind of beat him to a pulp. I did hear the Death talking about Ruddy and how their composition doesn't really make the most sense and how they drafted very greedily and stuff like that. I will say, Ruddy can not be messed with in a side lane, right? The ability to collapse with the Hextech Ultimatum and TF Ultimate onto a side lane on this Orianna is very, very quick, right? So the issue comes with how does DMG navigate side lanes? How do they navigate side wave pressure, right? They can send the Malphite, which is fine, but realistically, they want a team fight, right? They want to fight around these dragons. They want to fight around the Herald, the Baron that will eventually pop up here with their massive, meaty front line. But if Ruddy just splits the map and constantly pressures side lane, it becomes very tough for DMG to kind of get their win conditions rolling off the ground here. So we'll have to see how DMG navigate that come post level 6, even around level 9 for Akers, for Erol here. And this TF Camille combo, we're going to see a lot of Hextech Ultimatum into the TF port, into, oh, that guy's dead on side lane once again.
Yeah, both teams seemingly drafting for, you know, a little bit more of what their comfort zone is, and it looks like Ruddy maybe identifying that they can play the macro game really, really well and want to play around that instead, whereas DMG seem to have that orientation towards the team fight composition, right? We can out team fight them and then we can win the game. And so it's gonna be a little bit of a clashing of styles here, it looks like. And I mean, I've seen games in the UK EL specifically end through like just a Tristana split push, so I wouldn't be surprised if we see some crazy stuff coming out from Ruddy if the split push from the TF Camille is just absolutely unparalleled. It is so difficult, right? Because like you said, the Malphite will never win against Camille inside post like 10 minutes, right? And then you also have the Orianna, which not sure, as you know, the desk said as well. Not sure how this lane plays out, but as of right now, looks pretty darn good.
And if I'm Mohammed Abdul Aziz, aka Crisis here, I am licking my lips right now because Orianna is flashless. I've got a TF that has gold card ready to go. I'm going to be paying a visit to this mid lane. I love it when I'm playing jungler and I just see that a flash is down because I am sprinting towards that lane very, very quickly after I take this red buff.
Yeah, I mean, the setup is, it can't get better, right? It's point and click stun. The Church of Chovy or Akira, I'm curious what we're going to end up calling that guy. I'm definitely going to call him Church of Chovy in the cast because my brain doesn't operate on that many levels, but he's definitely going to be struggling, right?
Yeah, he's definitely have to play a little bit safe here. And the thing is, how does this Mundo relieve pressure for lanes, right? Because the big thing about Mundo is that he really only has the cleaver. He can kind of just walk in. He's as scary as a pre-rework Warwick back in the day. If you guys used to play that, that's how scary he is. He's not. He doesn't really do a lot. He just kind of walks in.
Reminds me of Graves.
Yeah, kind of like Graves in a sense, right? As
yeah. Speaking of threats, it doesn't look like Gemsuit is going to be under too much threat, but yeah, definitely something good you identified there. Erol also doesn't have flash though. Could get spotted out here. Has walked up a little bit too far. Mundo walking in and can also tank that gold card, right? That's super important for the Mundo, but damage gets blocked and he's just going to be poked out of lane. It's going to be, you know, a little bit of help towards Church of Chovy.
Yeah, I mean, Erol is completely fine. Gold card is a very cool ability. Stops Akira in their tracks here. And right now, Rigged has been doing a pretty good job of just like kind of farming up. His job as Mundo is just kind of farm up, right? Like get tanky, get big. We'll be interested to see what build he ends up going. If he's going to go Heartsteel, if he's going to go like Warmogs into something else. Because you've got Nefarious as a more income-heavy tank in the top side. As I say that, though, Rigged is actually a higher CS than Nefarious right now.
I mean, yeah, picked up both scuttles, right? Double scuttled the J4, and Nefarious might be in a little bit of a tricky situation. Has to force that flash out, and I mean, that's going to be, again, just a pretty comfortable situation, I'd say, for this jungler of Ruddy.
Yeah, both teams just kind of chilling out right now. Erol playing a little bit more aggressively, understanding that he should have that push, given that Akira doesn't have flash, and you know, Crisis is on. Crisis could be there, right? If Orianna steps a little too far up here. As long as Rigged kind of stays ahead of the game, ahead of the farm curve, in front of the Jarvan here. Yeah, he already backed. He bought that Giant's Belt. Like, you know, he should be able to just kind of out tank some of this damage that's going to come out from Ruddy, at least early on here. We'll be interested to see who ends up prioritizing what. Dragon has already spawned. We'll see the Grubs coming up in a bit here. It feels like Rigged can go to that bot side and get some pressure onto that dragon. While on Ready's side, they'd much prefer the grubs, right? You've got TF, you've got Camille. You want to get 6 grubs as soon as possible. So I would really just try to stack that as fast as possible.
But Shibby, we're talking about Ruddy here, okay? We're
Yeah.
talking about the guys that play Turbo Ego. They draft early game, right? They have shoving lanes everywhere, right? Camille looks strong into the Malphite. You look towards bot lane. Lucian, Leona is about as aggressive as you can draft, and E-Roll having that shove constantly as well. And you can see J4 is going to go for those grubs, but I wouldn't be surprised if, you know, we see a little bit of contention for both, as we still have priority towards this bottom side.
Yeah, Lucian, Leona, very, very nice burst heavy bot side here. The
Ooh, they're gonna
Leona
give it.
passive plus the Lucian just kind of gets really disgusting. We saw it last game, and we'll probably see a lot more of it in the UKEL. It's kind of the I'm not gonna say poor man's Lucian Nami. It's kind of like the meatheads Lucian Nami, right? I don't want to play Nami. I just want to play Leona. It's the same thing, right? Burst, CC, we can do it. Like that's exactly what it is.
Whoa, speaking of which, gonna be able to find that burst and CC for now on Chovy, but a really good shockwave able to dissuade any further follow-up damage. Gemsu gonna get clipped by that Q from Rigged, but realistically no kills going over. I mean, Akira has to be careful here. We'll just back off, and I mean, DMG are happy to walk away alive.
It's a nice shockwave, and I maybe thought Rigged could potentially give some chase here, given that he was level 6. He does have the ultimate available, but instead is just gonna make sure that his mid laner is safe. Right now, just purely based off of mechanical differences on Ruddy's side, they are about 1,000 gold ahead right now. That's sequestered in that top side lead. Obviously, mid lane has a nice chunky CS lead as well. Realistically, Rigg's the only one, and he's the jungler. Mundo has a CS lead over Jarvan, and that's not really nothing to scoff about, right? Jarvan, he gets level 6, he flag and drags, he ults, and he just hopes his team can do the rest there. So, not really worried too much about getting a ton of gold here. As the fist bump comes out, they get a ward down here as well, so they'll know Jarvan is on that top side. Will this allow DMG's bot lane to play a little bit more aggressively? Probably not.
It's just so difficult.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean, this is a full press composition from Ruddy, and unfortunately, Rigged is not on the jungler that can punish that yet.
Yeah, and I mean, like, by full pressure, right? We're talking about the fact that it is Lucian Nami bot, right? You have the Ignite on the Leona still. You still have Flash and Barrier available to Sin, while Rhynek has opted for that cleanse. And then on top of it all, right, Twisted Fate can move nearly all the time. There's so much pressure afforded towards the side of Ruddy in this early game, as long as that ultimate is available to E-Roll. So you have to be careful all the time. You have to worry about when you can actually have backup from your Orianna from a TP, right, which isn't up yet. So it's a long time that Ruddy are going to have pretty much the initial move of the map, and it's more of a case of how DMG respond to the movements from Ruddy.
Yeah, and you want to take a look at E-Roll's build. He's going for something a little bit beefier, right? He's going Roa instead of something maybe a little bit more bursty. He might still trend towards that RFC just so he can get that extended gold card, but the Roa allows him to survive some of the burst that's going to come out, inevitably going to come out from the ball delivery system that is Malphite Orianna. He has a little bit more effective HP to work with. That's going to allow him to live through these fights a little bit longer and play for these extended fights. As now, ultimate comes in.
Yeah, and that's going to be TF into the bot lane. E-Roll not quite be able to make anything happen just yet. The culling does do a lot of damage to Givel, but he'll be able to walk out alive. And I mean, it's good that we forced something. We got the flash from Rhynek, so it's still going to be a win for the side of Ruddy, but not quite a kill.
Yeah, I mean, they were able to move. Not too much gets punished out of it. I believe Akira might have gotten a plate or even just a wave in, so that's a little bit of CS and gold going back into his pocket here. But E-Roll has hit a 9.5-minute Roa. Is absolutely disgusting. That is a very early Roa for him. He's going to hit that full stack very, very soon, and that's just him CSing very well, plus the TF passive, plus just Roa being a really value item here once you get it stacking. So 9.5 minutes is very, very nice for himself, and he's going to be able to stay ahead of that damage threshold that we talk about, right? Is he beefy enough to survive the Orianna Malphite ultimate? We'll see. I think he'll be able to get out with maybe about 33%, 35% HP after the whole burst comes down, but if there's a Jinx Rocket thrown on top of it, maybe it'll be a little too much.
We'll have to see whether your crunching of the numbers there is accurate as we get closer towards, you know, the team fight time of the game, which is theoretically where DMG should be thriving, right? We're getting towards that 15-minute mark, towards 20 minutes. where Rhynek gets a singular item to his name, and all of a sudden we're a Jinx that can scale into a team fight and absolutely obliterate the enemy team if we get the ball rolling. But it kind of is a case of Lucian will almost consistently for a long portion of the game be doing so much more, right? Like that is an Essence Reaver completed for Sin, and we're already playing Lucian
Jarvan's
into
items.
Jinx.
Take a peek at Jarvan's items.
Yeah, that's Eclipse as well.
That's Eclipse. They don't care about the tanks. Their whole goal, Ruddy's goal is we're not
Kill
gonna fight
Ori
the tanks.
and Jinx.
Yeah, we are gonna fly past them. We're gonna kill the 2 carries, and we'll deal with the tanks later. That's an admirable strategy. I respect that. I thought it was gonna be like the standard Sundered Sky, Jarvan, right? Sticking in team fights. No, he's gonna flag and drag onto Jinx, onto Akira, and absolutely burst them out ulti-wise. And you roll?
I mean, isn't it a little bit of danger, but Gibble not really going to be able to make anything happen here now that Jamsu showed up. And Malphite has moved in to kind of contest these grubs for Aziz up here, but Crisis should be able to walk away. Gets all 6 claimed by Ruddy, and this was their win condition that you were talking about, right? They really want to be able to have an impressive side lane. They want to be able to let TF split. They want to be able to let Akers split as well once the game gets a little bit later on. So they're willing to give up these first 2 dragons and give up that pressure for the grubs, and so far they've gotten what they wanted.
Yeah, and you just saw E-Roll eat a full Ori combo and was like, yeah, I'm fine. I'm completely good. It's 50% HP here. Sin is going to look to get aggressive on this bot side, although dragons will be snapped up for DMG here. And unfortunately, it is a Cloud Soul. I don't know about you, Dronte. I am a hater of Cloud Soul. I don't actually think it's that good, especially onto the side of DMG. They could have literally asked for anything else, as Riggs might get a gank off here.
Yeah, and Jamsu getting quite low, should just go down. Solar Flare into the backline, really trying to get something done onto Rhynek. But that's going to be, yeah, first blood of the game, going the way of Riggs, and the Mundo getting off to a great start.
Yeah, and that is going to be that Heartsteel Mundo that we talked about. Well, as long as they get into more and more fights, that Heartsteel is going to be really, really nice. He's opted in for the boots of Swiftest as well. Doesn't feel like he needs the armor boots or anything else like that. Just wants to go faster. There's enough slows on the map here. But Akers in that top side, just putting the pressure onto Nefarious. And this is the thing about Malphite. It's okay if you go down 20 CS. You just have to do your job in team fights. Hit the ultimate, get it onto the carries, and hope that your team can do the rest here. So overall, although DMG is down about 1,000 gold, 1.3k, it's not the end of the world, right? It's not like the previous game where Nuclear Vikings were up like 1,000 gold and it's like, oh, this is really doomed, right? They have scaling options. They have team fight on the side of DMG. There are ways for them to really get fights going and swing the gold in their way come 3rd Dragon, come this potential Herald that will be spawning very soon. If they look to contest, there are ways for DMG to turn this gold lead on its head very, very quickly.
Yeah, I think that's a massive thing to highlight here, right? Just the ability of the team fight to kind of flip the game on its head. But okay, wow. A good shockwave coming out from Orianna, buying a lot of time. The shield is massive. The Fresh Wave still alive, but it will be Crisis into the backline. Getting that last auto attack is very low. Will end up falling in the end, but the Thresh falls as well. Riggs trying to get away in. Malphite over the top, gets a 3-man knock up, and it's going to be Leona dead, but Rhynek can't quite scale into the fight. So much damage coming out from Akers. It's going to be a kill onto the Jinx on the opposite side. Riggs wrecking absolute havoc. A triple kill for this Mundo will eventually go down. Not before he gets another Heartsteel stack, though, and Akers, with an insane play, gets that double kill, gets the ace secured for Ruddy.
You saw how close that fight was, despite Ruddy initiating the dive onto Akira here. They were still able to get the kill. That shockwave not doing too much damage as it is Archangel's onto the Orianna there. The shield didn't help him out. The lantern was unable to be taken here. And funnily enough, Rhynek just couldn't get any kills in his pocket. That's the most unfortunate part of this whole debacle here, is that Rhynek gets 3 assists, isn't able to really get excited, isn't really able to kind of reset off of these fights as much as you'd like, and doesn't get any whole lot of gold for himself. Still stuck on that one item, right? Isn't able to get it right now. Isn't able to build that IE. While you look on the side of Sin, he's got Essence Reaver plus the components for IE being very, very close here. And that gold lead, I told you how DMG can explode it open. Well, if they take a fight like that and Ruddy win that 4 for 5 or 5 for 3 or whatever like that, that gold can get blown up very, very quickly. It was 1,000 earlier. Now it's like 4,000 gold for Ruddy here. And that's just off of one bot lane fight.
And surprisingly, so much of that is actually allocated towards the Lucian, right? I feel like this is like 600 gold off of being an item up. It's kind of ridiculous. I mean, obviously that's not including the Zerker's Greaves afforded to Rhynek, but it's a really strong Lucian already at this stage in the game. You have a 2-item TF as well, and that's not to mention Akers, right? An absolute demon on this Camille. We saw how much havoc he can wreak into that backline, really clean up what got started by E-Roll and Crisis, right? So there's just so many things for DMG to handle and to deal with in these team fights. There's too many ways to look. Like, you go cross-eyed trying to figure out which target to actually look at. E-Roll. Yeah, I mean, that's a lot of damage coming from Mundo, but you do have a turret nearby. We'll be able to get out alive, luckily. But I mean, like, everything that Rigged is able to do in the enemy jungle, Ruddy is trading back, right? Crisis is getting this this top jungle completed as well, and you can see Akers has so much pressure to be able to pick up this tier 1. It seems like Ruddy are just either one step ahead or matching pretty much everything that DMG is trying to do.
And you saw what they did, right? They bypassed the tanks, they flew right past them and said, you know what, we'll kill the Orianna, we'll kill the Jinx, and we'll deal with Rigged later. You can get your triple kill, you're not going to be able to out-tank the Camille, you're not going to be able to out-tank E-Roll here, and that's exactly what they did. I don't know if Gibble can actually do anything. Nice
good 2-man Shockwave, able to get Gemsu and Crisis, and Gemsu into the backline, gonna be stuck in a 1v4 for now, but E-Roll TP's in, and so much damage over the top! Crisis finds a 3-man Cataclysm. Rigged, stuck inside the walls. Jinx cleared on the opposite side. The Hextech ultimatum, so good. A good 2-man Malphite ult, but I mean, we're only tanks. How much damage can we do? Sin able to get the kill here with Akers onto the Mundo, and Nefarious, the Lonesome Rock, is gonna get taken down by Lucian, and Ace for the side of Ruddy, and they look for the Dragon as well.
And both of DMG's DPSs go down super early in that fight. And like you said, they're only tanks. What can they really do? Sin was allowed to free. Whoa, that was almost a kill coming in from Rhynek here. Yeah, that was really, really close. But you saw E-Roll as well, pushing down, getting the 700 gold for himself. He's going to be able to get out is the real question.
Oh my goodness, a really good sidestep, fancy feet coming out, and might even be able to threaten the kill onto Rhynek enough to get out of this situation. The flash gold guard, the Q doesn't quite land, and E-Roll with one more auto attack, maybe we'll be able to do it. No, oh my goodness, the fleet footwork proc. Finally, E-Roll gets the kill, and the shutdown goes away of Gibble. That's about the best that he could have hoped for.
That's a man right there. That is a guy that's like, you know what, I'm not going to get out, but I'm taking one with me. Gets the 700 gold, gets the kill onto Rhynek, and unfortunately, Rhynek still killless, still doesn't have a lot of gold in their pockets right now, and you just look on the side of Ruddy here. DMG may have had the better constructed comp, but Ruddy has just been playing their comp very, very well, collapsing as quick as possible, and Akers feeling himself right now as we get a flash of the gold here. Look how far ahead everyone is. Look at mid lane gap right now. Look at bot lane. Akers is actually not that super far ahead comparatively to his mid and his AD carry.
Yeah, I mean, looking at this gold lead, I want to throw up. Church taking a lot of damage from this killing. The Shockwave does land, and Sin might actually find himself in a little bit of danger. Rhynek not quite doing the damage, though! Gets slapped with the wallet, gets slapped into the ground. Lucian picks up that kill. Jamsu on the opposite side. It's going to be a Cataclysm over the top. Crisis nearly able to kill the Thresh. Jamsu has to flash away. Rigged flashing to follow up, but his backline is getting deleted in the process. Mundo, you can't run forward when your backline's getting shredded. Rigged left on his lonesome. Aka's here to pin him up, and it will be another kill picked up for Ruddy, and nearly a clean ace as well.
Yeah, I mean, they're just well ahead of the damage curve, right? Nefarious and Rigged, despite being these beefy tanks, despite having the locket on Gibble, it's just not enough mitigation. You know, I will say this, I respect the Flag and Jack, I respect the Jarvan going the Eclipse here, but realistically, Akers and E-Roll are just collapsing onto Rhynek and Akira, and there's nothing they can do about it. Akira's been hitting some pretty solid Orianna ultimates, right? 2, 3-man ultimates onto the carries. There's just no follow-up, there's no damage. Rhynek can't get the ultimate in. You don't really see Malphite following up as well. These are more reactive ultimates rather than, like, you know, proactive setup ultimates. So when he's ulting, it's like, oh, get this team off of me, get these guys away from me, rather than, guys, I'm looking for a fight, look at me, look at this ultimate, and let's kill the person that's the lowest. So it's really rough for this Orianna to even do anything, right? Especially because he's stuck on 1.5 items right now. Well, you look on the side of E-Roll, Rod of Ages, Lich Bane, and now has completed that rapid fire cannon. The pick machine is infinite with E-Roll and Ruddy Esports.
Like Kaching, they are able to get a little bit more into their pockets. They pick up that kill onto Malphite, and that's going to be a man advantage as they move into enemy jungle. Sin just poking out Gibble, might find himself caught. Oh, able to dodge away from that hook. And Rigged is going to be able to chase down onto Crisis, but what can you actually accomplish? Cataclysm into the backline, you have to deal with J4. He might just kill Jinx in the 1v1. TF TP's in on the opposite side. Rhynek trying to kite. Rigged getting taken down by Sin. Rhynek will get taken down. Gibble is next to fall on the opposite side. Sin just free hitting Rigged. Jamsu somehow tankier than the 7-3 Mundo. And oh my goodness, Ruddy looked good.
Hello? Your Jinx, guys. Your Jinx, your damage threat. She's getting dove by everyone. Rigged, unable to do anything, and Akira against Euro, that's just an unfair matchup right now. 3 items to 1.5 here, and that's going to signal the Baron. Yeah, 3 levels, 3 items, just 3 better teammates as well, even for Ruddy right now, as they're able to pressure that Baron here. 21.5 minutes. This is what I wanted to see from Nuclear Vikings last game, if we want to do the callback here, that they were getting a little too hesitant around the Baron. Ruddy, no, they have the lead, they can press tab, they can do math. We are very firmly ahead of this team. Let's get the Baron. Let's get this game over with. They are going to be able to push these side lanes immaculately. They can go 1-3-1. They can go 1-4. They can even collapse and dive potentially if they really, really want here. Rigged, albeit 7-4, the best performing member on his team. The rest of his damage threats, Orianna and the Jinx, just unable to get it done here. They can't do anything. Rhynek has not been allowed to play League of Legends, period.
I mean, yeah, Shibby, it's so difficult, right? You've drafted this Jinx, you've drafted an Orianna, which adds to the Wombo combo, right? But when you look at Jinx, she doesn't do that much damage at the beginning of a fight, right? Especially at 22 minutes when you haven't even completed your second item yet. You really want to ramp up, you want to get that first kill, you want to be able to get the passive going and get excited and move further into the fight. But the burst is just not there, right? You have Orianna building Leandries. Like, you have Leandry Seraphs, I mean, not even Leandry's completed yet, but the idea is that Orianna's going to be doing slow burn, right? And Rhynek needs to be doing stable damage, but you have to deal with Camille, you have to deal with J4, you have to deal with so much dive on your backline. There's nothing you can do. Rigged is just going to get killed. That's going to be Inhibitor turret taken down, Inhibitor next. Baron empowered minions. Yeah, they can just knock on the doors of DMG. I mean, realistically, Ruddy, how can they be challenged? They have all ultimates available. They can look further. They can wait for the wave bot. They can look to just siege with this. Woo! Okay, it will be Crisis getting taken down. A good Malphite ultimate finds a pick. But the cannon minions still hitting that turret. The coin coming out from Sin, able to clear the wave. Inhibitor turret bot going down. Inhibitor will surely fall right afterwards. Yeah, Malphite ult is gone. Rigged is in the grave. And it looks like it might just be a win for Ruddy. A good dodge away from Akers, able to bait out that play. And we'll have to see what Ruddy can get done. They're still sieging. They're still just letting the minions do the work. They're looking for the kill on to Malphite. Nefarious able to flash away, get into the base, is stunned up. Rigged finally respawning, and now it's going to be a 4v5 in the enemy base. But Ruddy don't care. Rigged taking so much damage, but Jamsu might be left for the wayside. Ruddy maybe recognizing that it's a little bit too much to bite off. They will walk away, maybe get out alive, and only lose their support.
I mean, they could have just sieged. Realistically, they didn't have to take that fight on the side of the Nexus here. They could have sieged. They probably could have ended if they were, playing it a little bit better. But I get it, Ruddy. You're having fun. You're more than 10,000 gold ahead. You want to limit test. We've got a full Mejai's coming out from E-Roll, right? Like, this is more fun gaming for them. I mean, 3 items on Akers. Sin as well is just gonna shred through anybody here once he fills up this Mortal Reminder. Another Cloud Dragon given over. Like, they're gonna reset. They're gonna take all the gold that they have in their pockets, cash it out, and you can say, you know what? Let's push to that top side here. Let's see if they'll do it by the books or if they'll just run it, sprint it down mid.
Okay, I think I was scared that Akers was just gonna go for the kill here on Gibble, and looks like he might just try and kill Rigged in the middle of 3 other members of the side of DMG, and they have to be careful here. Akers does take damage. They're not immortal, but in comes the rest of the team. A good Malphite ult over the top, able to get 2 kills nearly picked up, but J4 able to get out alive. The EQ is enough, and it's going to be Nefarious picked up in the middle of 3 members of Ruddy 4 moving forward. Rigged going to get caught by the Cataclysm. No ult available. A double kill for Lucian. Sin looking for more, trying to get damage onto Rhynek to flash away. If he can get excited, he can turn this fight. The cleanse comes out, but he's so dang low. E-Roll with so much damage. Blinking health bars on the side of Ruddy, but E-Roll can still step up. No mana available for the Church of Chovy, and this might just be a win picked up for Ruddy. Rhynek pushed off. Okay, Crisis won't quite go down, and that means that Rhynet can't get excited. The exposed Nexus will surely fall, and Ruddy will go 1-0 so far in this tournament.
Even in the best of conditions, with Akers being down, Rhynek on this 2-item Jinx just could not get it done. Ruddy with the masterclass execution of their composition, the way they played side lane, the way they collapsed very expertly. I mean, yeah, they also did just kind of have better players. Des talked about if nameplates are off, you look at DMG, their champions should win out in some of these fights, but Ruddy just able to execute very, very well. Akers just absolutely putting on a clinic in that top side, E-roll as well in that mid lane. Des said it, right? He was the best looking player in that summer showdown, period. And he joined the other side. They made a sort of super teams, let's call it. Well, right now, they look like the Avengers, the Justice League. This guy looks like this whole team is just Thanos right now, the way they're just rolled through DMG. It was very, very disgusting. I mean, just very well played. Very aggressive on the Baron, very aggressive on side. I don't really have too many nitpicks for this Ruddy team, other than they just kind of had a little bit of fun at the end.
Yeah, I think so, should be right. Like, very satisfying game to watch. Seeing a team that, like you said, is kind of designed to be a super team, and we see a lot in higher level leagues, even in lower level leagues, where super teams get formed and they don't quite deliver what they maybe were expected to do so. But Ruddy so far, first game of the tournament, looking really dang strong. I mean, every single lane winning out, the jungler getting involved. I couldn't nitpick whatsoever. And I mean, DMG put up a decent fight as well. It was just a case of, it seemed like their draft did have a few issues with it, just maybe 2 primary damage dealers not having enough burst to actually get that Jinx going. And I mean, like you identified, right, they can't deal with that split later on. And I mean, if Ruddy get ahead as they did, it's almost impossible. So really good stuff coming out from both these two teams, but Ruddy easily taking that one home. And I'm excited to see what we see later on in the tournament from these two teams. But Shibby, unless you have anything else, I think that's going to be it from us. So guys, we're going to send it back to the desk. They're going to analyze that real quickly, break it down, and then send us off. So thank you so much for joining us today. And that's going to be it from me, Drake, and Shibby. So see you guys in a bit.
Thank you very much, boys. Thank you for the cast. So, Doctor, despite a completely unplayable mid lane matchup, Ruddy just putting up numbers like normal.
Yeah, it happens sometimes. I don't know how, but it does. Simply better. I mean,
they came onto the Rift knowing exactly what they wanted, and they set about very effectively getting that. I looked at the gold at one point. Errol's 3,500, 4,000 gold up. Like, yeah, that is a thing that just happens when a TF gets ahead. And they were able to close out pretty handily, although, as we have also come to expect, it wasn't the outright cleanest of games.
Yo, he's so muted. You're so muted on Discord.
I was
brother.
muted. Good job. It was my mic. My mic was muted. No, it wasn't It wasn't the cleanest of games, but I think part of that was because their draft was difficult to pull off. It was the ease of execution was on the side of DMG, but then you watch the game and you're just like, oh, I mean, fair enough. Ruddy are just better players. Like they're better players, better team. I think that bot play that Errol made, where it was 1 versus 3 and he traded 1-for-1, is the example of maybe this guy's a bit too good for this league, because TF should not be outplaying 3 people by himself in that scenario, but he does. So yeah, I mean, props to Ruddy, but I think if you are DMG, it's not about being too disheartened, because it's kind of like, unfortunately, sometimes your opponents are just like better. Like if Messi scores a goal against you, you kind of just be like, meh, happens, right?
I mean,
so yeah,
it's a double eliminations format. You're gonna play them again later. You don't have to worry about it too much.
Yeah,
just get your head down, ready to play next week. So that is it. First 4 games of the new format, the 2 group system, in the books. Of course, looking forward to Thursday, where we've got 4 more games coming along. Thank you so much, guys, for being here on the desk with me. I know some takes, some upsets, some heartbreak for you there, Doctor. But thanks for sticking it out with us, Sovnix, as well. Thank you for coming along. Thank you all for watching, guys. Yeah. I'm running out of brain cells as well after having to host and run this show. So I don't know about you guys, but I'm heading to bed after this. And well, whatever. I mean, let's be real. If you're watching this, you're probably in the UK. So enjoy how you spend the rest of the evening. And we will catch you next time on the Four Nations. See you then.